The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Where do the Jets go from here this offseason? We'll talk about that and more when Ryan Sampson from the Gangs All Here podcast with the New York Post joins our show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I wanted this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. And I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go on a Monday, show number 2 on the day. If you missed it earlier, the winners of Asmaniac Raffle number 15 were announced. So we're now on to Asmaniac Raffle number 16. The top 3 prizes: a signed Sauce jersey, a signed Nick Mangold jersey, and a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. I'm going to the Combine next week, so let's do a little draft theme for our next raffle. 3 great Jet draft picks. Once again, Jermaine, Mangold, and Sauce, our top 3 prizes for the Asmaniac Raffle number 16, which will take place when I'm in Indianapolis next week. Let's say hello right now to a good friend of the show. He is the co-host of the Gangs All Here podcast with the New York Post. Him and Brian Costello and Frankie V do a great job. Ryan Sampson joins us now. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, Jake? How are you, bud?
I'm good, man. I'm jealous of you, though. You were down in Tampa at spring training last week, and it's freezing today in New York. It was snowing over the weekend, so I'm jealous you got to experience some warm weather for a few days.
Man, it was my first time at spring training, and I'm a diehard Yankee fan just like yourself, and getting to experience that, even just behind the scenes and walking where the players are, getting to see the clubhouse, getting to see the facilities they work out in, and just their daily routine. It is crazy how much thought and the process they develop down there. Just to see all of that behind the scenes was really cool. And then obviously, like you said, just getting out of the cold for a little bit. It sucks being back in New York because it's, like you said, freezing cold. The wind has been crazy. And it's beautiful down there. It's every single day. It's 80 plus. It's crazy.
Must be nice. Must be nice. It must be nice being fans of other teams as well for a transition to our Jets. Now, by now, everyone knows what happened with Rodgers. They made the decision. But moving forward, where do we go, Ryan? Like, what to you is the plan, right? Because you move on from Aaron Rodgers, okay, fine. You can agree or disagree with that decision. But ultimately, now what is the Jets' plan, in your opinion, for what this quarterback situation is going to look like this offseason?
So, it's tough to answer that right now, I think, just because I think the Jets' new regime is obviously trying to figure that out themselves too. But the options right now, like you said, Jake, and you've said on previous shows, and I've listened to a bunch, is they're not great. Like, they're not great from a free agent standpoint. And from a draft standpoint, it's a lot of question marks. It's a lot of unprovens. I mean, it's not the best class when it comes to the draft. Talent wise, there's a lot of question marks and do you think you could develop one of these guys? And most of these guys, I would say, probably need to sit for a couple games to start their tenure. So if you're the Jets, you're asking yourselves, we've ripped the Band-Aid off. That is Aaron Rodgers. Are now in the mode of, are we going to go with an established veteran, sign one of these guys, trade for a veteran quarterback, or do we draft one and have them sit behind Tyrod Taylor, who you do have under contract for a couple of games, and maybe they can work their way into the starter's role eventually mid-season? I think, Jake, personally, I don't think you're wrong if you take a quarterback here and it's early in the draft. I don't know if they'll take one at 7, just because if Shador and Cam, by all intents and purposes, go in the top 5, like most draft pundits have said, I don't think the Jets are going to take Jackson Dart at 7. I don't think they'll take one of those type of quarterbacks early on. Second and third round, if a Dart's available, I think they would pounce on the opportunity. I know you've probably seen Rick Spielman talk about Jackson Dart, which I thought was interesting, his comments. And now he's a part of the Jets front office. So that was interesting. I love how he was able to work himself into the front office role after helping them hire a new head coach and GM. He was able to get a job out of that. But, you have to kind of take what he says with a grain of salt and be like, he's going to have an influence on Darren Muji and the decisions they're going to make here in the future. So I do wonder if they decide to target a quarterback here in the second or third round. And Will Howard is interesting to me. I don't think he's a starter day one. I don't think any of these guys I'm talking about are starters day one. But
your co-host Frankie V loves himself some Will Howard.
He does. And listen, you love some of the plays he makes. You love his big arm talent. He's accurate downfield, but he's not athletic. He's not a, like I'm going to come in and just win the starting job day one. They're not great options, Jake. They're not. And I know that leads back to the discussion that you had originally had. When, I think one of the first times you had me on was like, what are we doing with Aaron Rodgers? It's like, were the Jets better off keeping Aaron Rodgers or cutting them? This is the decision they're making. Like, yeah, I think we all as fans kind of have to come to the realization this might be a rebuild. It is a rebuild. And they're going into
I hate that word, Ryan. I want it to be a retool. A retool. We can't give up on next year already.
I don't want to give up on next year. Like, I think the culture is going to change. And Jake, I think one thing a lot of people aren't asking, while the quarterback is obviously going to be the biggest thing we're all going to talk about and focus on, there's going to be a lot of changes to this roster. I'm just telling you right now. I got this feeling like Glenn and Muji are coming in and saying, if you ain't part of the program and if you ain't a part of what we're going to establish here, and I think they have their fits for the type of players they're looking for. From Glenn being a former scout, I think he knows who he wants and who he identifies as a player that he wants. I think you're going to see a lot of changes. And I think there's going to be some players that people are going to be shocked that they get rid of. Like, I'm just throwing names out there. Michael Carter II. I know you just gave him an extension, but that was the previous regime. Would it shock you if the Jets decided to move on from someone like him? I don't know. I'm just telling you that there are players on this roster that, besides the Devontae Adams eventually gets traded and Alan Lazard cut and Alan Lazard will get cut, but there's going to be shake up to this roster. Like, I just have a feeling that these guys are going to pick and choose who they want to continue to build with this team.
Ladies and gentlemen, the raffle entries have been getting underway. Shout out to David Atkins. He was the first I see here to gift a membership. It went to listener. Let's find out. YouTube, tell me. It went to listener Jay Lepselter. And then, how about this? First person today to give us a 5 spot of channel memberships. M. King is in our next raffle with 5 right here. They went to the following people: Philip Hannon, Jose Oliveros, Flight Right 409, Backport Shorts, and Beth Page Chris. Shout out to you, Chris. You deserve it, because I feel like you never get a membership. And then now all of a sudden you just got one. So shout out to you. M. King, thank you. We'll get you down in the raffle for 5. It's interesting when you talk about a lot of changes. I don't think they're going to trade Sauce or Garrett, though. Like, no, I don't think those are the changes you're talking about, right? I mean, could you maybe see Quincy Williams being dealt? Final year of his contract. He's 29.
Does he fit the profile for what Glenn is looking for at that middle linebacker position? I don't know, because I haven't done a deep dive on like the type of players Glenn like targets for those positions, if that makes sense.
And it's also tricky too, because Glenn's never been a head coach before. So it's not like some of these things we could look at and be like, well, when he was here, he had this. It's like, well, he wasn't the GM there, wasn't the head coach there. How much influence did he have over some of the personnel he's working with as a secondary coach or a defensive coordinator the last couple of years?
No, I totally agree. We're gonna learn quick this offseason, Jake, what their vision is for this Jets team. All I ask for is do it the right way. And I know that's hard to say, because we've been waiting for that as Jets fans for a long time. And we thought we had something. And I listened to you earlier today on the early show, and you hit it spot on, which I really don't want to ruin the first 5 years of what we had with Sauce, Brees, and Garrett and Jermaine Johnson, which the Jets have done. Like, let's be real. Like, they have ruined the first 3 years of these guys' careers. They haven't given them the full lanes to be able to operate and be young, successful players under controllable, like cheap contracts. And that bill is coming due. Like, they're going to have to make decisions. They can't pay all of these guys. While they are making moves towards the cap and clearing space, because they do need to address a lot of positions. They still need a right tackle. They need another middle linebacker because Sherwood is a free agent. They need at least 1 or 2 defensive tackles. They need another corner because DJ Reed walked away in free agency. They need another wide receiver, which you eloquently pointed out this in the earlier show today about who the hell is going to be playing next to Garrett Wilson, because Devontae and Lazard are going to be cap cuts. So who's going to be next to him? You can't trust Malachi Corley, and I don't think he's a 2 anyway. He's a slot receiver, if anything. So there are a lot of positions and a lot of needs for this roster, and I think that's why when I said it's a rebuild, it kind of is, because they have a lot of positions to address here in the offseason.
It's going to be fascinating to see how quickly they could hopefully get it right at some of these spots, because you could turn it around quick. Like, there's so many examples of teams going from non-playoff teams, 5 wins to the playoffs, but quarterback's big, and then some of the other stuff we're talking about. I mean, wide receiver-wise, they better extend Garrett Wilson is all I'm going to say, because I'm tired of hearing about how unhappy he is with Aaron Rodgers. Okay, well, Rodgers is gone. Garrett, you're back in quarterback hell here. Like, the Jets, I believe, are going to offer you an extension, and I want no more BS. Like, get Garrett Wilson signed long-term. He should play basically his entire career as a Jet.
And there's the playoff thing, right? Like, you're talking about a team that has made it's the longest playoff drought in all sports, and it's 14 years going on 15. So I just wonder how they're gonna have that in the back of their mind. Is Woody Johnson gonna pressure them at all, like, to make decisions? Because we've seen it before, and we saw it this previous offseason. You know, go sign Tyron Smith. You know, go all in for Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, and it blew up in their face hilariously bad. And it's just there's got to be a right way and picking the players that you want and attacking the right ones in free agency. Like, Jake, I love your intro where you go back to winning the offseason. I kind of don't want the Jets to win the offseason. I want them to be a little bit more reserved. I'm not talking John Idzik reserved, because that was really, really bad, and that was a nightmare. But I'm talking about somewhere in the middle, right? Like, be smart, be calculated, target the guys you really want, sign them in free agency if you need to, and then go into the draft and draft for need a little bit. Don't go in just saying we're going to take the best player available. Like, I wonder again if they want to be aggressive for a quarterback and they're so convinced for a quarterback, and maybe it's late first round, early second. If there's a guy they want, go get him. Go get the quarterback, because I think we are at a position now in the NFL. And tell me what you think about this, Jake. I think you could take a quarterback 2 years in a row in the first round if the first year you don't like the results, because it happens now. Guys, like, it is wild how the NFL just spits quarterbacks out and says, you know what, we didn't like him after 1 year. We're not going to sit around and let this guy, waste, and we don't believe in him long term. You can take multiple shots at the quarterback position, specifically in the draft. So if you want to take a swing, not 7, but if you want to take a swing in the second or late first round and trade up, go for it. If you want to take a swing next year in the first round for a quarterback, go for it. Because I don't think you could throw enough darts at the board when it comes to the quarterback position. You have to take the opportunities that are there when they're there. Because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck in the middle like they have been now, or at the bottom.
I feel like they're going to come away with a quarterback. It's just a matter of, are they going to do it at the end of round 1 so they have the 5th-year option, or is it on day 2? Because I'd be shocked if they don't at least try to find a potential long-term answer. And then if you do it on day 2, that doesn't preclude you, to your point, at all on doing it in 2026. In fact, if I was betting on it, I'd say the odds are they still would probably take a quarterback in the first round in 2026. I mean, you look at the NFL, and there's a few outliers, but the teams that make the playoffs year over year, their quarterbacks are drafted in the first round, or in the case of Jalen Hurts, the second round. Like that's really today's NFL. For every Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott, there's the entire litany of AFC quarterbacks like Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stroud, Herbert. These are all first-round picks, and that's not changing anytime soon.
No, it's not. And there's, again, like you said, you look at the playoff teams, all of these teams have first-round quarterbacks. And you look at the Eagles did too. Carson Wentz was the guy they paid, and he was their top of the first-round pick. They drafted Jalen Hurts, and even after the injury, and said, you know what, like, we need to be able to move on and pivot off this contract if we have to. Denver pivoted off Russell Wilson, ate all that dead money, drafted Bo Nix. But again, Sean Payton knows how to draft and develop. Like, he picks his guys. Like, he goes, this is the guy I want. If you're the Jets, I need to know if those conversations between Glenn, Muji, and their new offensive coordinator and say, listen, this is the guy we're circling. We think we can develop him. Go for it. Like, don't be afraid to draft the next quarterback for this team. I do want to open up the possibility to you because you've heard of, I think I said it first on your show, Kirk Cousins. I know you don't like the option. I know you're not enamored with the name.
I'd rather you play quarterback.
Listen, I hear you. But there's a couple things about Kirk Cousins that I just want to I want to mention with him, and I know he's coming his second year removed from Achilles, just like Rodgers will be his second year removed from his Achilles. You pointed out earlier in your show, he had his Achilles on his plant foot. Big difference there. It's different from what Rodgers had on his off foot. But I will say, Cousins did have some moments this year where I think it was the Buccaneers game where he threw for almost 500 yards in a game, right?
Yeah, that Thursday night game. Yep.
What's that? The Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time Aaron Rodgers threw for 500 yards in a game?
Couldn't even tell you.
Exactly. There's more recent success with Kirk Cousins in the NFL than there has been with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I don't know about that. Rodgers was better this past year than Cousins.
He was better this year, but who had a 500-yard game? Like Rodgers, this is my thing.
Yeah, but that's one outlier game. Like Zach Wilson had like a 350-something yard game too, you know?
But my thing though with Rodgers though is, again, you take away those games, that meaningless game against the Dolphins at the end of the season, and you take away the game against the Jaguars, where it was one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Rodgers did not have good stats this year. Like it's just, if you look at what these
better
guys,
than Cousins though. Well, Cousins, 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. I got benched for a rookie in the middle of a playoff race.
A rookie that they drafted in the first round. And again, if you wanted to tell me that you're going to go get Kirk Cousins and then draft a quarterback in the first or second round, I wouldn't hate that plan if you're the Jets. There are worse
I
plans.
get it. To me, there's better options than Cousins, though. Like, I understand your point on, like, Kirk Cousins, second year removed. You know, I think he might be shot. Like, I'm good on Kirk Cousins. I want someone potentially better that we're adding to that room to go with Tyrod and hopefully a rookie.
I don't know if there's anyone potentially better as a free agent.
Give me Fields. Give me Jameis.
Fields. They didn't let him throw the ball in Pittsburgh. Like, I mean, people need to be honest here a little bit. The Justin Fields hype, they didn't let him throw. He wasn't good. Like, they benched him at 4-1 for Russell Wilson, who looked like garbage too at the end of the year. I mean, it's just
he could run though. I mean, he's a dynamic runner. Like his rushing stats are great.
So then you have to tell us what you want offensively. Do you want a quarterback that's going to be dual threat, can throw and run? Or you want a quarterback that's going to operate your offense with tons of motion, getting guys in space? Kirk Cousins knows how to get the ball to the number one wide receiver. I can tell you that much. He ain't going to ignore Garrett Wilson. I understand Garrett Wilson was targeted a ton, but it wasn't in the opportune times and wasn't at the right moments and wasn't in the red zone. Like there's.
But that to me is not on the quarterback. That's on like the scheme from that standpoint. Like Garrett got more targets than anyone.
Whose scheme was Aaron Rodgers running?
But we're now talking about Cousins, right? I don't think the quarterback from that standpoint matters. Like, it's Engstrand's scheme, whatever that might look like.
Correct. Which is going to be a lot of motion and a lot of targets to the number one wide receiver. I mean, it's going to be Garrett Wilson as your number one.
Yeah, I hope so. It better be.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no other. They have no other options. But
Tyrod could get the ball to Garrett, and so could Jameis Winston, and so can some of these other guys who aren't very good.
I'm not against Jameis Winston, but again, you're talking about another quarterback that can turn the ball over a ton, can put you in bad spots, make some really bad decisions. Like Kirk Cousins is the same thing. Every one of these quarterbacks have faults, Jake. Like that's why they're all.
Carr?
No,
you like Derek Carr?
No, stay far away, man. There's a
you
reason.
Rather Cousins over Carr?
Yeah,
interesting.
Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has had again more recent success than Derek Carr over the last 4 years. You take a body of work over the last 4 seasons. I'm taking Kirk Cousins over Derek Carr. It's just, there's a reason Kellen Moore, who's thought of as a very good offensive mind, he ain't committing to Derek Carr because he's seen it firsthand. Derek Carr gets shaky in the pocket. And mind you, Kirk Cousins is right there too. But the thing is with Derek Carr,
he's a lot older than Carr though. Cousins going to be 37 in August coming now, and I get it, second year off the Achilles, but he's a lot older than Derek Carr.
Yeah, there's something wrong with Derek Carr where I don't trust him. Ex-teammates have called him out. Michael Thomas. I mean, I don't like the Derek Carr. He just doesn't do it for me at all. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is the number one. I'm just saying that is an option there, and do not be shocked if the Jets end up signing or trading. I don't think they're going to trade. I think that when Kirk Cousins gets released by the Falcons, do not be shocked if the Jets are interested in Kirk Cousins. I'm telling you, it's the offense. And it would be so Jets. But so Jake, if I sold you on a Cousins and a draft of Jackson Dart at the end of the first round, the Jets are get aggressive there, or mid to late first round, you wouldn't be excited for that?
I'd be like, okay. I really don't like Kirk Cousins as an option. But I'm very down on him. That
gives you a very good buffer period right there of let's have Kirk play it out for the first half of the season, possibly more.
Are we sure Kirk's better than Tyrod at this point?
There's a reason Tyrod Taylor's a backup quarterback, man. The guy doesn't
because he's always hurt. He's always hurt.
He's always hurt. He can't stay healthy. Like I love Tyrod, but he just can't. He can't stay healthy. So you can't go into the season with him being your starter because you have to have another viable quarterback behind him. But I'm telling you, like if you want it, like a plan for me, and I'm just wondering if you go with a Kirk Cousins and you draft a Dart or someone there. I don't know who else would be, but if it's Dart and Cousins, sign me up for that.
Dart and Cousins, Ryan Sampson putting his stamp on the Jet quarterback situation. You smell that, Ryan?
I go ahead.
Smells like 4 wins to me right there. 5 wins, maybe 6.
It's a rebuild, brother. I'm telling you right now. It's a rebuild.
My God. This is like Frankie V's dream. At this point,
I hate it.
Let's just win 2 games at that point.
But again, if you want to do that, then just let Dart play the entire year and don't even go for Cousins, right?
He's not ready though. I don't want to put the rookie out there and embarrass him and ruin his confidence. Especially Dart. Agree. Dart is a huge project. He has never played under center before. He's taken like less than 30 snaps under center.
He's not ready, like you said. He's not ready. I think if you I would rather have a much more established veteran than Tyrod Taylor, just because I don't trust Tyrod to stay healthy. If you tell me Kirk Cousins, and mind you, Jake, you're getting him for nothing, right? He's getting so much money from the Falcons. You would sign him for the veteran minimum pretty much, like Russell Wilson did with the Steelers. And why not do that combo of Cousins, Dart sits behind. It's a good veteran to sit behind. And when he's ready, you put him in, give him the chances towards the end. There's a lot of talk also about are you going to lose the locker room? Are you going to lose the locker room by admitting that you're going to be rebuilding this year? I think that Glenn and Muji will gladly have that conversation with guys like Quinnen Williams, a guy like Garrett Wilson, if he gets frustrated, and be like, listen, this is our culture. This is what we're trying to fix. You either get on board or we'll ship your ass out. It's plain and simple. I can't say this.
I don't think they're going to say they're rebuilding, though. They're going to try and win as many games as possible. They're just not going to be all in like the Jets have been the last 2 years of personnel moves to try and win right now with Rodgers. Correct.
They're going to try and do it the right way, which is building a lot of your roster through the draft. And I think, again, you said it great on the early show. Go find offensive linemen later in the rounds. Don't go for the first round offensive lineman again. Go with the later round picks. You should be able to develop a guy from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounds in the draft. Other teams are able to do it. The Broncos do it. You can do it too, but you have to have the right culture and mindset in place and circle the guys that you really want in these drafts. You, again, pointed out to Joe Douglas, missing a ton on the skill position players after the first round. It's been very bad. I mean, I'm going all the way back to the Denzel Mims pick. It's not been good for Joe Douglas's track record when it was taking skill position players out of the first round. They got to be better at that. They have to be able to identify talent. And that's why there might be a bigger task on Muji for this first offseason to say, I need to establish who's the players we want to keep, who are the players we think we can move off of. And there could be a lot, like I said, there could be a lot of change to this roster in this offseason.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Austrian Jet fans in our next raffle for 5. Austrian Jet fans sent me an address to Austria earlier today. He won the Joe Willie Namath Super Bowl III replica ring. So I will be sending this bad boy from New York City to somewhere in Austria. Austria, I appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the show. 5 more entries for him here. And the following people are now channel members: TL, Dana Russell, WD, Aria Sheikin, Kashmir Black, all receiving channel memberships. Thanks for supporting the show, and congrats to everyone who just got a membership. This one's from Bill, who says, just join the Patreon, Jake. Bill, welcome aboard. Get in the Discord. By the way, anyone who joins the Patreon, if you sign up for the year, you save 15%. And I'm going to offer anyone who signs up for the year or upgrades their membership from monthly to the year, you'll get 10 entries in the raffle as well. So, Bill, I got you down for 10 because you joined the Patreon for the entire year earlier today. Thanks to everyone who supports us over on Patreon. Curly writes in, how can you rebuild something that was never built? I mean, my point with that, Curly, is not that the Jets have this great team, but there is talent here, and I don't want to tear all of it down. I think you could have a competitive retool. Like, you could do what the Chargers did, where they were a 5-win team, got better coaching, and they were fighting for a playoff spot. Like, that's what I would like to see the Jets do, than just trade everybody, you know? It'd be nice to have Justin Herbert, no doubt.
Yeah, it's just it's tough, man. It's gonna be a rough year. I just I get this feeling, Jake, like it's gonna be.
You're smelling the 4-win season as well.
4 to 6 range. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I love to be surprised, but I don't set my expectations that high for this upcoming season, just because you have to deal in the real world, and the real world is there is talent on this team in spots, but there's still a lot of holes that they need to address, and there's a culture that they're trying to change. At least Aaron Glenn is. One thing I do want to ask you, Jake, and you've been in the media now for a couple of years, is or a lot of years actually, but like, why are we still getting leaks out of this front office? Why are we still getting, this is what happened with the Aaron Rodgers meeting. This is what the Jets front office is thinking here. Like, this was supposed to end, I thought, with the whole Glenn bringing in the new mindset of this is how I want to run the ship.
Because the dirty little secret is, while some of the changes have happened where people who have been around a while are gone, not everyone is. And also, without naming names, I think a lot of the stuff out there is speculative, gets aggregated, and is made up, quite frankly, by some people. There's one particular national reporter who's supposed to cover the entire league, but this person seemingly only covers one team, and that team being the Jets. So I have a lot of thoughts on that. I could fully rant to you off air, some of the things I've heard there. But I think that's why. And also, I'm a Knicks fan. There's Met fans out there. LOL Jets, LOL Knicks, LOL Mets. These teams get clicks. They do.
Yeah.
And the Jet fan base is as passionate as any in all of sports. And you say something about the Jets, boom, it becomes a huge deal, even if it's just someone speculating on something. And that's a lot of times what these reports start off as, and then they go everywhere, and it becomes a firestorm.
Are you? I agree with you, and it just. It's tough to be taken seriously until you start winning football games, unfortunately. And that's
it. It's like the Knicks and the Mets, right? Like, obviously the Mets had an ownership change, so it's a little different, but James Dolan didn't sell the Knicks. No one's doing LOL Knicks right now. They're a model franchise and how to rebuild your team.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Jake. Going back to the draft, though, I do want to ask you this too. Are you a fan of taking Warren at 7, the tight end?
I'm not as against it as I was last year because I felt like it was imperative for them to get one of the tackles.
I like
Olu. Like I have zero regrets with that decision. I give Douglas credit for that. That's all. It's all good. I don't know. Like if they think Warren's going to be that great, then all right. Like obviously sure, but I'd prefer to maybe trade back and then do that if possible. But that's you're trying to have your cake and eat it too with that potentially because it's easier said than done. I'm open to it. I'm not going to just completely dismiss it like a year ago I would have.
Yeah, I just wonder how much of a game changer he'll be for you for this offense. And I do want to look at what Engstrand, where he's coming from with the Lions, and they have one great tight end, and they have some solid tight ends as well on their roster. They do run a lot of their offensive passing scheme and their run blocking through the tight end, and their new offensive line coach was the tight ends coach for the Lions as well. So I do wonder what kind of influence they'll have on the decision here. He's a special talent, and if you think that he can really take your offense to another level because the Jets are in desperate need of tight end help, I would say go for it. I just wonder if the dream scenario here is if you ended up with Tyler Warren at 7, let's say Dart ends up at the end of the first round in that 25 to 32 range, and the Jets can trade back up to that end of that first round. You take Warren, you take Jackson Dart. Let's say they do end up with a Kirk Cousins. I'd get me pretty fired up, actually. I might change my mood from 4 to 6 to like maybe 7 and 9. I don't know. What do you think?
You love Cousins, man. AZ writes in, I hope AG is stubborn. It settles for Tyrod. I'd be surprised if it's just, oh, well, we have Tyrod, we have Jordan Travis, and then we draft someone. Like, they're going to add a veteran. I think the question is, how much money are they investing in that veteran? It's why I think Fields is probably not going to end up being here, because I could see a team that knows for sure they're drafting a quarterback, like Tennessee, the Giants, for example, giving Fields a lot of money, like 10 or 15 million, like what Darnold got, and saying, you're the guy, we're going to draft someone, you compete with them for the job. We'll see what happens.
We will. And I agree with you. I think he might price himself out a little bit for the Jets. And I don't know if he'd be worth what they're trying to get there. I'm laughing at one of these comments. Bro, what are we talking about with Cousins' 500-yard game? Listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just telling you, Engstrand, that is the type of quarterback he will probably be going for, is a Kirk Cousins type. A veteran that knows his offense and can use his offense. Just don't be shocked, man. Put the connections in here, and that's all I do. I try to draw connections from relationships. Engstrand, where he comes from, it's the same tree as Kevin O'Connell. Just telling you right now, man. If he's calling up Kevin O'Connell and be like, hey, man, do you still think Kirk's got it? And he says yes, they might go for it. For just
I hope he says no, he's washed.
You hope, right? You hope. But I just try to draw conclusions where these guys have played and established in systems. And I just think a Cousins paired up with a late first, early second round pick. If it's a third round pick, I'd be pretty bummed if it's Will Howard, Kirk Cousins. That might hurt me a little bit. That would keep us in that 4-win range there. Listen, man, the bigger issues are besides the quarterback and the tight end is wide receiver 2, right tackle. They need to find another corner. They need to find another middle linebacker. They got to find 2 defensive tackles. It's an endless shopping list here, Jake, if I keep listing out what the Jets really need on this team.
They have money to spend, though. Like, we're still talking about a team that has an O-line in place, a number 1 receiver, a really good running back room, cornerstones in the secondary at linebacker. We'll see what they do with Quincy, but he's under contract. We'll see what they do with Sherwood. Obviously, defensive line-wise, you have Jermaine, Quinnen, and McDonald. Like, that's not a bad place to start. Like, you make some good signings and have a really good draft, like other teams that have gone from bad to the playoffs. That's how it's done. Like, it sounds like a lot, but the reality is no team is able to fill every hole they have in the offseason as well. They have needs at safety. Safety you could address in free agency, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to do it, right? You could sign Justin Reed from Houston, and if you need a corner, you could sign Charvarius Ward from the Niners, who played for Steve Wilkes there. Like, there's moves you can make that you could improve this roster, but it's going to come down to what they get at quarterback at the end of the day, and just how good of a coach Glenn is. Nobody has the answer to that. He's never been a head coach before.
Nope, he's never been a head coach before. We don't know what the type of quarterback he's going to be going for, because there is. I think you'll get a little bit of a hint of where he's leaning when we see the decisions the Jets do make this offseason. Besides quarterback, Jake, what is the second biggest need on this team?
Ooh, it's a good question. I think it's got to be something on the defensive side, right? I mean, probably defensive tackle, unless you just want to keep going with like the stopgap guys that, occasionally you get it right, like what they did in free agency 2 years ago, and then they try Sheldon Rankins and that backfired. It feels like defensive tackle, someone next to Quinnen, would be right there. Honestly, today's NFL, you could argue receiver is right there too. I know they have Garrett, but they really do need to figure out this receiver room, because what if Garrett gets hurt next year? Then what? I mean, who's whoever the quarterback going to be throwing the football to at that point?
I don't disagree, man. And that's another question that again, they're going to have to ask themselves. Tim Patrick's name I saw out there. I mean, he's okay. I mean, he's a solid 3, I think, but he's not a 2. I think wide receiver is definitely a big need, but defensive tackle, you could feel how weak they were up the middle besides Quinnen. They need to be able to add some beef up there that can stop the run. And Aaron Glenn, like, he dealt with a ton of injuries last year on defense as the defensive coordinator for the Lions, and they were still able to put together some solid games, but you saw it at the end. Like, they couldn't compete because the injuries just were too much for them. I'm just trying to think, like, defense, offense, where do you want to go? Quarterback's the number one need. I would say probably I would agree. Defensive tackle is the number 2 need on this team, just because you need to be strong up the middle, and teams were able to run the ball on the Jets all season long. And Jermaine is coming off an Achilles injury. I hope he makes a full recovery, but he was good against the run, but how's he going to respond to that? I think they also need probably another edge rusher too, because if Jermaine goes down again, it's just Will McDonald. There's definitely a lot of needs on this defensive side of the ball. They lost a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball over the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just inexcusable how Joe Douglas dismantled what was one of the biggest strengths of the team. So, I mean, thank you, Joe, for that. It's ironic, right? Douglas actually leaves the Jets with, at least on paper, a decent offensive line compared to some of the other year-over-year O-lines we've had going into an offseason. But the D-line had always been a strength the last 3 years until this year. So he finally gets the O-line in a decent spot, only for the D-line to be completely dismantled, of course.
Yeah, it's ironic how it worked out that way. One thing I do want to ask you too, again, Jake, is if the Jets got aggressive and said they went after a Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, are you setting yourself up for a failure a little bit by being that aggressive? And let's say they traded up to 2 for a Cam Ward Shedeur, and these guys don't work out. It kind of sets you back as a franchise a little bit if you're that ultra aggressive for the quarterback. Do you agree?
If you hit on the guy.
If you hit on the guy, right.
It depends what you're giving up. Like, if you told me it cost them a second this year and they're 1 next year to do it, if you believe Cam Ward's the guy, do it. Like, fine. Like, you're putting your chips in the in the middle of the table there and you're going for it. But if you're right, no one's going to care. If you're wrong, you're probably going to get fired anyway. That's what happened to Joe Douglas with Zach Wilson.
We are in that spot right now where we really don't know what the hell's going to happen.
They put themselves in this spot, though. Because my argument for keeping Aaron Rodgers was he would take all the bullets, and then this regime would have time to eventually get their quarterback. But if you make that move after you got rid of Rodgers, you're going all in. The clock starts. You get 3 years, maybe less if it's a
Did you really think Aaron Glenn was going to be able to establish his culture with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback?
My thing on that is, if Aaron Glenn is such a great leader, like everyone says, then he should be able to quote unquote reel in Aaron Rodgers or recognize.
You're talking about the biggest personality in football.
I get it, but you know what? I think at the end of the day, if Aaron Glenn's this leader he's supposed to be, I don't think it should be a problem if the guy can help you win. Matt LaFleur was able to do it. Won 13 games his first year. And then back-to-back years, they won 13 each of the next 2 or 14 the second one.
And how did it work out at the end, though, when at the critical decisions, Rodgers questioning LaFleur, not going for it on 4th? Like they were not good at the beginning. Like they were like I'm talking about like their relationship. They were not good. They were
winning, though. And then
that's the ultimate deodorant, right? It covered up how bad a relationship they probably had.
I don't even think it was that bad. I don't know if you watched the Netflix doc on Rodgers, but like, it was more so after that first year when Rodgers had a good statistical year, but it wasn't an MVP level year. They met in the offseason. That's when Hackett was there as well. And they installed more of what Rodgers wanted in the offense with what LaFleur had. And then he won the back-to-back MVPs. Like my big thing is I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn, but I keep hearing how great of a leader he is. He's this, he's that. And ultimately he'll be fired in 3 years if he doesn't find a quarterback. So it's like, it's the same old, like Saleh was supposed to be this great leader too. And ultimately, well, he wasn't what I thought he was going to be and many thought he'd be. What doomed Robert Saleh was he never had a quarterback. And that's what dooms most of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, get the quarterback right. And that's how you survive in the NFL. Nick Sirianni, a lot of people don't like him as a coach, but got to give the guy credit.
Guy wins.
He does. So I'm not putting a Band-Aid on Aaron Glenn first year because I don't think that's fair as a first-time head coach. And we'll see again what they'll do at quarterback position.
No, but if he goes 4-13 in year 1, all the people who love Glenn right now, we're going to go into year 2. The first loss of the year is going to be like fire Glenn. Like it's going to happen fast if they can't figure out a way to start winning some games.
Dan Campbell was terrible his first 2 years with the NFL with the Lions. Like you got to give these guys some time. Like he was thought of as the most ridiculous coach hired when the biting kneecaps and all that. Like, and it looked terrible the first couple of years. But he needed time. Like
year two, he was what? They were 9-8 in year 2. They started bad in year 2, and then they turned it around, right?
They turned it around. I believe so. I have to look it up again.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Glenn's going to get year 1 no matter what. No one's saying fire the guy if they win 4 games. But year 2, they were 9-8, and then year 3, they were in the championship game, and this year they were the 1 seed. So like you don't get that much time.
No, I hear you. But I think they were aggressive that offseason. I think right after they brought in Jared Goff the first offseason. They went and got their quarterback. Said we're going to build around him. and they built their
Well, they
offensive.
traded Stafford.
They
right
traded
away when he
Stafford
got
right
there.
away. Yep, and they went and got Jared Goff, and they said that's our quarterback. We'll see if he's their quarterback going forward after the next couple of years, because that was ugly in the playoffs. But it took time. It does take time, and I know patience is not something Jets fans want to hear, especially at 14 years missing the playoffs. But we've already been through 14 years of missing the playoffs. If you tell me it's another 2 years for this team to finally establish them, if they get to 500 in year 2, are you happy? Or right below 500 or at that 500 mark, 9-8 wins. Are you happy?
Do they have a quarterback?
Yeah. Let's say they have a quarterback that
Then
you
that
actually
changes
believe
it.
in.
Yeah, because the example I use is what Buffalo did. I mean, Tyrod ended their playoff drought year 1 of McDermott. Then they went 6-10 the next year, but they had Josh Allen. And then they built around him. They've been in the playoffs every year since. So, if you tell me the Jets in year 1 are around 4 or 5 wins, but then next year they're 9-8, maybe they miss the playoffs like the Lions did, but they have a young quarterback we're excited about, and the roster's in a better place because Bucci would have 2 full drafts and off seasons to put it together with Glenn, then yeah, you could convince me on that, but they got to win, Ryan. Like, it's nice to talk about building it this way and culture. There's too many teams that suck and then instantly get good in a year or 2 at the most. Bo Nix in Denver is the latest example of that. They're going to get 2 years. If they can't figure it out in 2 years, they're on the hot seat in year 3.
Fair enough, man. I agree. Fair enough. I'm with you. I don't have much.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I really don't have much else to say after that, because you're right, man. I mean, I'm in the point right now, Jake, and maybe I've been beaten down so much. I just got to sit back and watch and see what happens. Like, I can have an opinion and share to you, like, listen, I'm drawing connections and saying Kirk Cousins makes sense for the Jets just because I've seen the previous history of Engstrand and that offensive system with Kevin O'Connell, and he's had success there, right? Like, I'll draw that. And then I can also tell you, listen, man, like, could they draft a Jackson Dart in the second round or trade up in the first round to go get him? Absolutely. I could see that happen. And then taking another swing the next year in the first round. I am in the mood right now, or the mode for myself in the offseason, where I'm so far detached because I don't want to get too involved right now. I just want to see what they're going to do. Like, what are the Aaron Rodgers decision was the first one. Now let's see what they do in the draft preparation, how many quarterbacks they're going to meet with, who they're talking to, who's these guys, who are the rumors. The Jets really, really like Jackson Dart. Rick Spielman's having a big influence here, or the Jets met with Cam Ward and Shador, which I'm sure they will, and you'll hear that. I just want to see what happens. I want to see the moves they make, and then I'll judge them for what they are, because I have to give this regime and this front office time, at least in the first year, to establish what they want, the decisions they make with this roster, and then we'll react off of it,
Big fella writes in, Carr is better than Cousins, and that is what, with Carr throwing hospital balls, we're going to draft Dart at 7 and sit him. They take Dart at 7. I mean, you already know that there's going to be pressure for him to play way earlier than he's ready, and the same mistake continues. Here we go. First-time coach with a defensive background, first-time play caller, rookie quarterback not ready to play in the top 10. Where have I seen this before? Jets football, baby. We never learn. Incredible. No. Let's see. Ricardo says, Winston Fields, Sam Howell, Hendon Minshew. Hendon Hooker stinks. Can we stop suggesting him? I'm so sick of the Hendon Hooker people. He got replaced on the depth chart by Teddy Bridgewater, who was coaching high school football. On 2 weeks' notice, they threw him out there in a playoff game as the backup quarterback over a guy who's been in their system the last 2 years, sitting behind Goff and being in every meeting. Meanwhile, Bridgewater shows up and takes his job right away. Stop with Hendon Hooker. I can't
stop
take
with
it anymore.
Minshew. Minshew lost his job too, man. Like, he was back and forth with the Raiders. Enough with that. The
Minshew has played and has had games where he's looked good. Hendon Hooker stinks. He's never done anything.
I'm not a fan of Gardner Minshew.
Willie Vision with a super chat. Need 2 to 3 D linemen, safety, a number 2 receiver. Get back to using Brees correctly. That was my big thing today. I was talking about that. Draft a quarterback, and Tyra could be serviceable until he's hurt or shows he can't win. Yeah, but the problem with Tyrod is you start him and you have a rookie only behind him. Once Tyrod gets hurt, the rookie has to play and might not be ready. So you still need to sign a veteran that can play, and the rookie quarterback they draft is QB3.
I agree with you, Jake, but I will say this about Brees and the Jets running game. Let's not be ranked 32nd anymore in the red zone when it comes to rush attempts and rush efficiency.
Well, hopefully this new O-line coach that Glenn hired can run a real running scheme. I had Brian Baldinger on my show at Radio Row Week And it's funny because Baldy works for the Jets, so he can't be like overly critical when he's with the team account. But he went off on Keith Carter essentially when he was on my show and just how bad their schemes were. Yeah, just all of it. So
when I went to when I went after Kaz on that one, and he's like, "Don't forget, Keith Carter was the offensive line coach with the Titans." And Derek, I'm like, Derek Henry, come on, man. Like, do you remember how good? Like, Derek Henry was great this year, but like when he was special with the Titans, the dude was able to like he looked like he was jumbled up with a bunch of guys on top of him, and he'd break it off for 90 yards. Like, no one could tackle Derrick Henry for the first couple of years in the NFL. Just relax. The Keith Carter guilt is real. Like, that guy was a disaster as an offensive line coach.
Julio wants to know, would you make a play for Chris Olave?
I actually would.
What am I giving up is my thing, but obviously I don't know why they would
Second
trade
round
him.
pick. But yeah, why would they trade him?
I'd trade it too for Olave.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to look into his injury. Does he have a history of concussions? Yeah. So that would scare me a little bit. I have to look into that more.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you a little pissed off when you look back that Joe Douglas didn't end up taking Jackson Smith and Jigba 2 years ago when he had the opportunity to. Like, I know Will McDonald had a nice year last year, over 10 sacks, but JSN would have looked pretty damn nice next to Garrett Wilson. How about that, Jake?
Now they'd have even less defensive linemen, though. Or maybe they have Bryce Huff still here. I don't know. I don't know
Bryce
how that would have
Huff,
played
possibly.
out.
Yeah. And that was a terrible trade-off too. Bryce Huff didn't even play in the goddamn Super Bowl. Meanwhile, Hassan Reddick, checked out this year and still earned some money.
100%. Hennessy with a super chat. Imagine not drafting a quarterback you like at 7 because it's too early. Then he becomes a franchise guy somewhere else. Wait, I think I've seen that happen before. I mean, to be fair, though, comparing Jackson Dart to Patrick Mahomes is kind of crazy.
That is wild take right there, Hennessy.
And that's what you're implying, Henny, right? Because the Jets didn't take Patrick Mahomes because they already had Hackenberg and Petty, and they didn't want to take
Petty. Yeah, they didn't. No. By all accounts, Jackson Dart is not even a first-round pick according to most pundits. They're saying second round for the kid.
People are trying to make Jackson Dart a thing. There's people convinced that he's not even a first-round pick.
I'm not. Listen, I go with when it comes to the draft. I can tell you this, Jake. Nobody has a fucking clue of how these guys are going to turn out, especially a quarterback. It's more about the system they go into and how they're getting developed, and if they're getting rushed into development. Zach Wilson turned out to be the wrong pick. Like we all know that. But if you look at the rest of that class, they all stink. It was a terrible quarterback class. And it was the most highly praised quarterback class in a long time. Everyone was like, Trevor Lawrence is next Peyton Manning. The guy has been god-awful, mind you. And I understand he's had not the best support system with Urban Meyer, but I don't think Doug Peterson's like the worst coach, but he's an okay coach, and it's a Super Bowl winning coach, if we're being real. Trevor Lawrence does not look the part for a number 1 overall pick. Oh, and not to mention he got $60 million plus guaranteed for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't know what Jacksonville was thinking over that. But Zach Wilson is a disaster. Trey Lance was a disaster. Justin Fields can't keep a starting job as a winning quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mike Tomlin's been around for a while, and he decided to go to Russell Wilson. So if you circle the guy you want and you say, we believe in this guy, then go get him. But I don't think anyone's going to Jackson Dart and saying that's a top 10 pick right there in the first round. I don't.
That's also the type of pick that could get you fired too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Douglas got the opportunity to try and rectify the Zach Wilson mistake because he wasn't the only one that would have taken Zach Wilson second overall. The Niners were trying to do it, and the Jets weren't going to make a deal with them, so they settled for Trey Lance at number 3. Like, there were plenty of teams that would have done the same thing if they were in the Jets spot at number 2. You take Jackson Dart at 7, you're probably not getting another chance to try and make up for your mistake if he flames out and is bad. So,
and imagine trying to rush him, like you said. Like the fans are going to be going nuts if the Jets have some other veteran quarterback or even Tyrod. In the first 4 games, the Jets are 1-3 or 0-4. They're gonna be like, put Jackson in, Jackson Dart, and they're gonna be the Jets are gonna be the only people that know truly behind scenes in training camp and practice whether or not he'd be ready. And if they're telling you no, he ain't ready, then he's not ready. Believe me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joey is in the raffle for 5 with this $20 super chat.
The freaking New York Jets. So we're built for this shit.
Let's be more ideal that Rodgers off injury. We knew he wasn't going to be Rodgers. Our defense did so bad, and that was our strength. Why are we overall analyzing our defense was worse than our offense? Yeah, I mean, that's been my big thing. Like, look, Rodgers is gone, but there's a lot of people that have not been fired, like Rodgers was essentially, that did their jobs terrible and contributed a lot to this 5-win season that was the worst season of any of our lives watching the Jets, given the expectation. So the defense has to be fixed, and I hope Glenn knows what he's doing there with Wilkes.
Are you talking about on the defensive side of the ball, like the guys that weren't fired that are still on this team?
I think Joey's just talking about just how bad the defense was. I'm just saying, like, you know, everyone, like, Rodgers is going to be the face of this disastrous 5-win season when the defense going from top 3 in every category to bottom 3 in most is, to me, the biggest difference in the 2023 Jets versus the 2024 Jets.
Look, Sauce had a down year, but it was still a solid year for him. Like, that hurt you a little bit. They were weak on the defensive line. We've noted it. Losing John Franklin, trading away John Franklin Myers, trading away letting Bryce Huff walk, and trading for Hassan Reddick. All of those moves equated to a really bad defense. And CJ Mosley not playing the entire year. But he's not going to be here next year, CJ Mosley. He's most likely going to be a cap casualty. So all of that means you need to be able to replace some of this talent, and that's a lot of talent to replace. The Jets couldn't do it. They couldn't do it in the offseason. So, yeah, they were a massive letdown last year. There's no doubt about it. But that's going to be Glenn and Wilkes' job, like you said. They got to fix it. Like, you got to be able to get the most out of the talent on the team.
Mickey writes in, I want to trade for Kyler Murray. I'd include Sauce in the trade if it got done. I would not include Sauce in the Kyler Murray deal. I would call and find out if he's available, but I don't think Arizona would trade him. Who's their quarterback if they trade Kyler Murray?
I don't even know who sits back up to Kyler Murray, but I don't know if I want Kyler Murray. That guy's got another. You want to talk about another head case? You think he'd do well in New York?
If he plays like how he did against the Jets, I'll take him.
The Jets were very bad against. I mean, the Jets as a whole were bad against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals haven't won squat with Kyler Murray, and they surrounded him with guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. They've given him a good running backs. They've had DeAndre Hopkins before. What am I missing here with Kyler Murray that you want to go trade for this guy? Because all I see
he
is
had a good season this year, I thought.
He's never won anything, and he's undersized, and he's making a lot of money for someone who doesn't win a lot of football games. And
his
again,
contract is great though compared to some of the other ones that have been signed since.
That's just the quarterback market, right? But I'm also asking you, like, mentally, is he all there? I mean,
I don't know. I do know this. I do, like, he's not being traded, so I just feel like it's like,
right. It's not even worth having the conversation. But again, like, I would question someone like him, like his motivations. I don't know if they're purely football related. And there's already been talks about the off the field, like video games and him not paying attention to the playbook as much. Like, him
and Brees could get pizza at Joe's in the West Village together. And Kyler was there when UFC was in town back in November.
That's right. No, I'm good. I'm good on Kyler Murray, man.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We actually, Ryan, you're going to love this here. We actually have some breaking news, and apparently you're involved here.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Sean says Jake or his top hosts aren't scouts. They're just assuming who's good or not. Hey, breaking news. Ryan and I are not NFL scouts. That's right. We work in media. We're Jet fans, and we're giving an educated opinion on things. Breaking news, Sean. You got us. We aren't scouts.
You got me.
Here's the thing. The scouts are wrong a lot, too. That's how you could have Zach Wilson going second overall.
F you. F you. F you, too.
Sorry, we don't think Jackson Dart is worth a top 7 pick.
Dude, they just fired a bunch of scouts on the Jets. They don't, like you said, scouts get it wrong all the time, too. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. While draft talk is fun, and it is fun to talk about prospects and hype and this guy be projected here and how is he going to be here? Like, no one knows shit when it comes to the draft. Like, I'm being dead honest with you. I've learned a ton from a guy like Louis Riddick when I worked with him in the draft for 7 years, and he taught me so much. But Louis gets a lot wrong too, and so does Mel Kiper, and so does Todd McShay, and so does Matt Miller. You can name Daniel Jeremiah. They all get shit wrong. And I'm just telling you, when all of them have said that Jackson Dart is not a top 10 pick, I go with that because all of them can't be wrong, but all of them thinking the same way and that Jackson Dart's not a top 10 pick, there's no reason to risk it. And you're just heightening the chances of your job getting fired if you don't do well with that pick. Unless you're already an established coach like a Kyle Shanahan who made one of the worst moves in recent history to trade up for Trey Lance. And that was that guy was taken number 3 overall. Right? Like, people don't talking about that enough.
But Brock Purdy bailed him out. He got lucky with the last pick in the draft. So that's how you survive.
And he's an established coach, and you knew what he can do offensively for a team. And he went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. So yeah, I'm fine with him missing on a guy at 3. But I'm talking about Aaron Glenn, his first time as a head coach, never coached in the NFL at all before, and he never had a proven track record of developing quarterbacks. If he takes Jackson Dart at 7 and it doesn't work out, guess what? He's gone. Yep. He's fired.
The balls if he does it, though, him and Moochie, if that's what they do. I mean,
if they take Jackson Dart at 7, and let's say this kid is the real legit, they're going to build a statue for Aaron Glenn.
Look, I'll help build it, and I'm someone who wanted an experienced coach over a first-timer. But if that's the move they make and it works, sign me up, man. I just want to win. Like
I would love to be wrong. I think all of us would love to be wrong that Jackson Dart is not a top 10 pick and that he turns out to be a real legitimate NFL quarterback. We would love to be proven wrong. And if the Jets went out and got him and they developed him, loved it. I would love it. We'd all be his biggest fan. But the Jets have never had a franchise quarterback. Like, it pained all of us to watch what happened with Sam Darnold. Granted, it was a great offensive system around him, but it pained all of us because you thought the potential was there for Sam to work here in New York, but it never did. But again, it came down to them picking the wrong coaches to surround him with. They never successfully built an offensive scheme around him. They never supported him with an offensive line, and they never gave him real weapons to throw to. But meanwhile, he goes to Minnesota, and he works with a great offensive mind, works with a good offensive line, has a great run game, elite wide receivers, and you saw what you got out of it. You got the most out of it, I would say, the most juice out of that orange that you wanted to squeeze. But the Jets have never done that. They've never done that, Jake. It's hilarious how bad they are at developing quarterback. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick had an insane season in 2015, but that was a journeyman. That wasn't a young kid like Sam Darnold that hadn't reached his full potential. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers took Baker Mayfield, and he had an incredible season this year. But they supported him, and they built an offense around him. Why can't the Jets do the same goddamn thing? That's what our question is to them. What have you been doing wrong at looking at the quarterback position, finding the right traits, and why haven't you been able to support these guys? It's not just one receiver, one running back, and we have a left tackle. No. What can we do to support you even more? All right, I'm going to bring in a good offensive mind. I'm going to bring in a strong offensive line coach. I'm going to give you stud left and right tackles and strong at the interior guard. I'm going to draft another wide receiver in the first round because I think you need not only one, but 2 stud wide receivers. Oh, and guess what? I'm going to take a tight end in the second round because I know you need a good tight end. That's how you support these guys. Give them everything. And don't ask them to do too much in the beginning of their careers. The more you can make the easier for them to play in the NFL to start their career, the easier path to success they're going to have. Jalen Hurts has incredible weapons around him. I don't think anyone looks at Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. But what he does is he wins, and he plays in a scheme that is successful to him. They've catered around him. We're going to run the freaking hell out of the ball, one of the biggest offensive lines in NFL history. We got a Hall of Fame talent at running back. A.J. Brown is a monster. He's a stud. Devonta Smith, former Heisman winner, another first-round pick. There is a formula there, and you have to be able to support a quarterback and let them flourish. The Jets haven't been able to do it ever in my lifetime or yours. The closest they came was probably Sanchez in 09 and 10. They had a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and they had an insanely good offensive line, but they didn't have the right guy running the offense. That is how you win here. Do I know if Engstrand's the right guy? Absolutely not. I don't. I don't think Jake knows. I don't think any of us know. This guy is going to be calling plays for the first time in his career. But I do know that if you look at some of the pieces they have here, and Brees, Garrett, and Olu, they have some talent, but they need more. That's all I got to say, Jake.
Ryan, great job. Appreciate you hopping on as always.
Anytime, bud.
Gangs All Here podcast. Ryan, Brian Costello, Frankie V. It's affiliated with the New York Post. Ryan's also basically running every podcast the New York Post puts out. I have the Yankee one you did with Joel today bookmarked to listen to later, so I'll be checking that out. I know.
Enjoy.
You're
We
just
talked
down in
about
spring training, so you got a lot. I'm sure you guys got a lot of stories from that.
I hope you're not getting your hopes up for Nolan Arenado. That's all I gotta say.
No, I am not. But you know the Yankee season's here when Stanton's got an elbow injury. Classic.
Tennis elbow for a baseball player in both elbows for Giancarlo Stanton.
I'll tell you what. As long as he's ready for October, he can do no wrong in my eyes.
He's getting his 15 to 30 games out of the way at the beginning of the season, Jake. That's what he's doing.
Look, to me, Stanton is he's boo proof. He's good with me. So all good.
Yeah.
Ryan,
All right, man.
Great job.
Thank you.
Ryan Sampson, everybody. New York Post, Gangs All Here podcast. Passionate Jet fan. Has the chat fired up. Some super chats here, then I'll get to some of your calls. Once again, for those of you tuning in late, we did our 15th raffle this morning. We're on to number 16. I got 3 epic prizes in honor of the Combine next week. We're doing Jets draft picks as our big theme. Sauce Gardner signed jersey. Nick Mangold signed jersey. Jermaine Johnson signed jersey. Our top 3 prizes for the Asmaniac raffle, number 16. Super chat here from JT, draft Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State in 2026. I'll worry about that in 2026, JT. Kale with a $10 super chat. Appreciate your support, Kale007. We need 2 safeties, a corner, linebacker, probably 3 D linemen. This defense needs a major uplift. Focus on that in the draft. Find your quarterback next year. Play to the coach's strength. It's a 4-win year. Be smart by developing. I mean, I hate just saying it's a 4-win year. How about let's win more than that? But I agree with your strategy on prioritizing those positions in the draft. I'd add free agency as well for that. I love you can't build in free agency people. Yeah, you can. Sure you can. Make smart signings. You don't want to only build through free agency, but I love that we got to build through the draft. Every GM says they want to build through the draft. No shit. You got to hit on the draft picks. You also got to have smart free agent signings. Do you think DJ Reed was a bad signing by the Jets? No. He provided stability at corner opposite Sauce the last 3 years. That was important. Like, come on, man. You had to do both. It's not just one or the other. Clancy writes in, Jake, it's Jimmy G-string time. Whiff it up, baby. And we're smelling 4 wins with that plan. Joey with a super chat. Not to say Zach was good, but we didn't utilize him the right way, and that goes down to coaching. Not to justify him as a player, but he did have a better record than Rodgers. Okay. I really didn't want to do it because you paid for this. I can't.
Why can't I be quarterback, huh?
Hit me, I'm open.
Hi.
That's why. Now sit down and shut up.
Zach Wilson couldn't play, man. All right. Mike LaFleur, when he had a different quarterback, how'd the offense look? Zach Wilson stunk. That's the reality. He stunk. They had a better record with him than Rodgers because Zach Wilson had a top 3 defense in the league and a field goal kicker that had the highest make percentage in football in 2023. Greg Zuerlein was 35 of 38 that season. That's the difference. You can't even watch Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson play quarterback and act like Wilson was better because his team won more games. And by the way, they won the same amount of games. The Jets won 7 in 2023. 2 of those wins were Trevor Siemian at quarterback. Clancy with an Asmaniac super chat. I have to use this super chat. My membership runs out in 30 minutes. Jake, any chance for Dobbs, Nate Peterman, or even Phillip Rivers? Hashtag for the culture. Clancy, you're a sick bastard.
Understand, tonight is awful in here. Awful. I saw this on the schedule, Jets during the Christmas holiday. I took 4 Canadian aspirin with a little bit of codeine in it, and just enough to get it that pop. Little 8% codeine never hurt anybody.
Can't do it. Someone get Clancy a new membership, though, when his thing expires. Julio says, Dart wears number 2 like Wilson, which does scare me. And he went to the same high school as Zach Wilson. So how does that impact your evaluation, Julio? Big Fella writes in, Ryan, greater than Frankie V all day long. I think both are excellent, Big Fella. Bob is waiting on Arch Manning. Oh, yeah. Tank for the quarterback, baby. It always works in Jet history. Always works. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier, he gave us quite the call. For the second straight day, he recreated the Garrett Wilson epic catch against the Texans. But his internet continues to be bad. Will it be any better?
Jake, I need to take a little frustration out. Let me just do this, please. I need a little crunch time action in.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker, 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
I don't really know what the anger he was taking out there, but Beast, we appreciate it. Wi-Fi still a little choppy though, Beast. Why don't you call in from your computer instead of a phone? That might help. Open phone lines for those of you who want in. We'll get back to your calls in a second. Super chat from Gustavo, who says, when will Jeff Parles be a guest? Hopefully this week, Gustavo. Jeff just moved, and his schedule was a little wacky. He was sick last week. We will get him on soon. I know it's been a few weeks. I was obviously traveling for the Super Bowl, but I promise we will get Jeff on. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Clifton joins us now. Hey, Kyle.
How you doing, Jake?
Kyle, how's the beach?
Fantastic. I was getting a little abuse I saw for my living room before. With,
Did you see Jason in Jerusalem? Was there?
I saw. That's the standard. It's the standard green screen from StreamYard.
I know.
But I figured that I'd change things up a little bit. How do I sound, by the way?
You sound great.
Fantastic. So I think, contrary to what Ryan believes,
I'm now in your living room.
There you go. Perfect. Contrary to what Ryan was saying, I think the Jets would run away from Kirk Cousins. I think the ownership probably remembers what happened the last time. I think that Glenn, who has connections throughout the league and is a Jet at heart, probably wouldn't want any part of that. You don't want to leave your first impression with the ownership group with the same veteran off the Achilles injury. Find a young guy eventually to build around, and it doesn't have to be this year, but go get your own young guy, and that's what I think they're probably going to do. As far as draft and free agency goes, I think that free agency, you're not going to see the big splashes that you might expect to see in other years. It might be filling in depth on the O-line. It might be a safety here or there that is maybe not top of the market, but solid. And the draft is really, they should lean into the strength of it, because they have the strength of it would help them fill some of their holes. You have defensive line as a strength of the draft. You have tight end as a strength of the draft. If you're sitting there at 7 and you think that, you have Tet as 5 or 6 on your board, why wouldn't you take him there? Because, you might be going to a system where it's going to be 12 personnel. You need someone to cross from Garrett. You can fill in the defensive line in the tight end room a little bit later down the line. You can bring in a veteran for 1 year, and then next year look to get your quarterback of the future. I don't think you should be pushing on quarterback this year unless the whole thing with the draft is you have to let it come to you. And if you don't do that, that's when you end up being the Jets.
If they believe one of these quarterbacks are the answer, you take them. If not, you don't force it. I agree with that.
Right. And Jackson Dart might very well end up being a first-round quarterback. I don't know if he's a top 10 quarterback. he seems like he's a talented kid. None of that other stuff, number 2 or the high school he went to, particularly scares me. If they do the homework on him, but I would rather see if we can do the safe thing in this draft, get the new regime on track. Make sure you hit a stand-up double instead of trying to stretch out inside the park home run.
Correct. You can't force it to try and take a player that's not deserving of where you're taking. That's for any player, but especially at quarterback.
Yep, that's it. That's all I had, Jake. Thanks.
Kyle, enjoy the beach. Great call from Kyle Clifton. Just letting me do the show from his home the next couple of days here. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. Posting the call-in link again for those of you who didn't see it. I believe it's pinned, but I'll repin it for anyone just coming in now. A lot of people in the chat now talking about Flippergate or Flickergate. We had Zippergate with Kyle, but now a lot of people opining on Flickergate going on behind him. Interesting. Very interesting. Kevin says, nice piano, Jake. Thank you. Stack is reminding all of you to like the video. There's 445 of you in here and only 165 likes. That is pathetic. Some of you, I guess, want to win 3 games next year. I see how it is. ISU writes in, Jake, does Kyle have any Cheetos in his kitchen? If so, wipe your hands on his sofa. Why would I do that, ISU? Kyle Clifton is a stand-up guy. Why do you want me to degrade his sofa? Grael writes in, why rid of Rodgers if we just going to go with Cousins? Because we're the Jets. That's why. I didn't want that. I don't want Kirk Cousins. I want nothing to do with Kirk Cousins. I want to make that very clear. So the Jets are probably going to hire him because everything I didn't want them to do, hire a first-time coach and GM, they did. Get rid of Aaron Rodgers, they did. So I don't want Kirk Cousins. Congrats, Jet fans. We're getting Kirk Cousins. They're doing the opposite of anything I want. I just hope they're right. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I want to win. Unlike some people who root for them to be right and don't actually care about the team they claim to be a big fan of, there's plenty of those frauds in my line of work in this town. I want the Jets to not suck. So I don't care if I look like a fool and Aaron Glenn's the greatest coach of all time or, Tyrod Taylor is amazing next year, whatever. I want to win. So I don't care. I'm so sick of losing. But I don't want Kirk Cousins. I think that makes no sense. Just keep Aaron Rodgers if we're going to bring in another guy who's old, coming off the same injury, and the argument's going to be he's the second year removed from that injury. Rodgers was better than Cousins this past year. Not by a little, by a lot. I know Ryan referenced that Kirk had a couple good moments this year. He had that game where he threw for 500 yards. But you know what? Aaron Rodgers didn't get benched for a rookie quarterback. Aaron Rodgers threw 28 touchdowns against 11 interceptions. I think Kirk Cousins was 18 touchdowns, 16 picks. And Rodgers, over the last 6, played a lot better than Kirk looked at all in any game. I know Ryan's like, well, if you remove the Miami game or you remove the Jaguars game, you can't remove those games, though. He played well in those games. Just like he played well in the first Bills game, but the Jets lost that night. So you can't have it both ways. If we're going to remove those games, then let's mention that he played well in games they lost this year as well. But ultimately, Rodgers is not a Jet. So if they sign Kirk Cousins, buckle up for pain. Wayne writes in, let's get a kicker and let him sit for a year. We might have no choice. That's how bad the kicking situation was. God. Hey, Sonny, if you turn your camera on, I'll go to you. Let's say hi to Big Cho. He's next. Hey, Cho.
Jake, what up, brother?
Cho, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Ed, I called it in. How you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to preface that before I just jumped into talking.
Were you watching the show before you called in?
No, I was watching.
Yep.
I just wanted to see how you were doing.
I'm good, thank you.
Huh?
I said I'm good, Joe. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm always going to ask you that. I I get tired of people talking about Arch Manning and tanking for Arch in 26. He might not even come out. His uncles, Eli and Peyton, played their senior year in college. So there's no guarantee that he's going to come out after his junior year next year. So cut all that nonsense out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. It's not a guarantee. We also don't know if Arch Manning's going to be good. Like, we can't just assume he's going to be good because his last name is Manning.
Oh, I just saw a thing across there. Yeah, we lost this weekend. We're on a 2-game losing streak. I was reading a little chat on the TV. We're on a 2-game losing streak, so I'm not a happy guy here lately.
Well, Joe, I want you to be happy.
Well, I'm happy watching this show, but now I got to think about the season again. Somebody brought it up. Yeah, we're on a 2-game losing streak. We're losing to teams we have no business losing to. Sound familiar?
Yeah, the jet-like karma has engulfed your basketball team.
It's a nightmare. We're still in the tournament running. We're usually in the top 3 of the conference. We're in 6th right now. You have to be in the top 8 to make the tournament.
I'll tell you what, Big Joe, I think you're going to make Asmaniac Madness as well. Are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'm pumped for that. I'm gonna come through too as well. I got some tricks, got some things hidden in the bag of tricks. Ready to attack. Don't want to do it now.
I'm excited, Big Joe. I mean, the future's bright for you.
I appreciate it. Now, hopefully, we can get a victory on Wednesday of our basketball team.
Amen.
Well, listen, I won't keep you, man. You have an awesome show. Appreciate you.
Joe, all the love. Appreciate you. Big Joe, everyone. One of the greats. Gator writes in, does Big Joe have a backup camera in his car so he doesn't have to turn his head to look out the back windshield? You know, I don't know, Gator. These are questions some are asking. And I don't know. Jet Nation writes in, Jake, do you think this roster is too good and have confidence enough to not want to rebuild? I don't think it's a rebuild, once again. I think they need to retool. I think a rebuild is what the Jets look like after 2020 when Saleh first got here in 2021. I think this team has talent on it, and they should try and compete for a playoff spot. That's what I think. All right. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Joe and his basketball team he coaches, they're currently on a losing streak. So let's go to someone who knows how to win to maybe inspire Big Joe.
Breaker. 666 $50 will send his ass to the hole where there's no gabagool.
Beast, you got to fire up Big Joe here. Give him some advice on how to win.
If you want some advice, we take $10 billion out. We go to the colleges, and we're going to go get them. And with that, more college to it. What's the point? Right now. I'm not in the hot mood.
It's just not working with the internet, Beast. You got to try a different method of calling in. We just can't hear you. Sonny, are you there? I see you're on hold, but I don't see a camera, so I don't know if you're there. Come back into StreamYard if you haven't. We'll see if we can get you. To those who don't like Beast, the Wi-Fi is sending him to the hole. But Beast will be back. Don't worry. What is worse? Beast Wi-Fi or the Jet 2024 season? It's at least debatable, which is saying something. Hey, reminder, we have now quarter zips in the merch store. I'm wearing mine right now, the Asmaniac one. We have Jake Asman Show ones. Go to jakeasman.com/shop. If you're a Patreon member, 20% off all items is included with your membership. Eddie writes in, Beast got stuck in an AOL manhole. Kind of feels like he did. Beast says he's going through some problems right now, family problems. So I'm going to take it easy on Beast. Beast, we wish you all the best. 25 is suggesting that Kyle Clifton is frying Beast Wi-Fi router. I see. All right. Well, if anyone wants to call in, now's your chance. If you're a first-time caller, you won't have to wait because there's no one on hold right now. Not a single soul on hold. Today's your lucky day. I will end the show. If we don't get some more super chats or calls, tune into the show earlier where we talked about the Garrett Wilson situation. Let me see. Clancy says, Beast, it happens, but try downstairs with the reception. Yeah, maybe try calling from a different location, Beast. That might help. Ladies and gentlemen, we asked for calls. We received calls. Jets Jesus is on the line. Hello, Jets Jesus.
Hey there, Jake. Whoa, that was a fast turnaround.
I told you.
My phone set up. Sorry, bud.
You're good.
Popped in a little bit late. I caught the end of your guest. Sorry, I forgot his name. Someone had seen before, but yeah, I liked kind of a lot of what he was saying towards the end about and also what you were saying that kind of complimented of, drafting to build up weapons and really focusing on that. And then obviously free agency. I was thinking the same thing you were about DJ Reed, where I'm going like, obviously we've had some significant free agent additions that have worked out really well. And I like the idea of really, the team's in a decent place, build a young, strong, foundation to the foundation that's, or to add to the foundation that's already there and kind of like keep that moving. Definitely excited for the point where we're not just sort of like throwing random thoughts at random QBs that come to our minds. We just kind of like scroll through rosters and go, well, who is their third string and who is their second string and who's maybe available and who's shaking loose. But it's that time where we're kind of ramping up for draft and stuff like that. So, fun ideas getting batted around.
Yeah, look, I people are going to speculate. That's what we do. Some of the names, though, I can't. It's like, you want to win 3 games? Like, great. Go sign Mac Jones. Go get Hendon Hooker. Like, you're going to be awful if that's the plan. I hope that's not their plan.
If we get Mac Jones, I will. I feel it. Yeah. If we get Mac, and what was it yesterday? Somebody brought up the guy who used to be on Pittsburgh, Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Just I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, if you're going to do that, just commit to a tank and accept what that is. I mean, obviously none of us want that, but those are absurd ideas. It'll be interesting to see, and probably pretty telling of what they end up doing, right? Like, what the GM and the coach end up doing as far as, now you've kind of, in a way, dug a hole with not having Rodgers back. How are you going to get yourself out of it? You've kind of put yourself in a what we all view as a tough situation. So what does that end up, give us, I'm excited to see what the solution is that they're going to present, because I think it'll be pretty telling. If it's some trash, trying to not curse, if there's some trash solution, then, it's going to be revealing right away, and we're going to, all feel like they're unprepared.
Yeah, 100%. I hope they got a plan, I'm sure they have a plan. I hope it's the right plan, basically. The Jets have had plenty of plans before. They don't work, so we'll see.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure we've all seen some terrible fantasy football managers think they have a plan too, and the rest of the league's looking at these, at those managers and going like, that team's going to be at the bottom. Like, you know what's going on here.
100%. Jets Jesus, great call, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jets Jesus will provide us with a miracle this year, folks. maybe a 9-win season. Super chat from Joey. He cuts the line. I think we're not taking into consideration how bad our line was in the beginning of the season, how bad our defense was. Rodgers did what he had to do with pretty much no coaching. You're preaching to the choir, Joey. And Rodgers is obviously not blameless. He was not great in several games. He also played well in games they lost. So when you say 5 wins, Jake, then you got to add context to the games they lost where he played well. Because you can't say, well, you got to take away the Dolphin game that he played great twice. By the way, they lost one of those because they had an 8-point lead with 2 minutes to go and the defense choked and Rodgers never got the ball in overtime. But okay. And then you can't say, oh, well, the Jacksonville game doesn't count because the Jaguars suck. And it's like, okay, well, then you got to mention the game against the Bills. He played well and they lost. It doesn't matter. So whatever. I mean, I can't do it anymore. He's not the quarterback. So I just hope they have a good idea, a good plan for whoever the quarterback is. My God. Ladies and gentlemen, Beastbreaker claims he's going to give us a home run swing. We were talking about baseball earlier. Let's find out if the Beast still has it.
Beastbreaker.
All right, here we go. No. Come here. Come on, let's see it. Here we go. Here comes the long one. Here we go. Swing. Where that baby go? She's going right side of the field. She's going. She's going. She's gone. Boom. Can you say it? 5-win season? No. 10-win season.
Beastbreaker. 666. He's the man who would kick your ass. And then he's gabagoo.
Yankees need a DH with Stanton out. I love it, Beast. Your audio might be terrible, but we were able to watch that swing, and that was beautiful. Kakuka Lake Jet fan says Beast would strike out in T-ball. Not with that swing. No way. Proved you wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people were wondering, would this guy call in? The answer, he has.
B-Mac.
Look at my TV.
B-Mac.
I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets. Go Jets.
Hey Jake, how are you doing? I got a quarterback here, and I know hopefully this won't put me into the hole. But what about Case? That's a good pick. Case Keenum. Jake is that good quarterback choice. Jake. Jake, hello. Are you there? No response. All right. What about Colt McCoy? That good quarterback choice. Colt McCoy. What about Brett Hundley, former Packer? Brett Hundley. Deshaun Kaiser. Deshaun Kaiser. Is that good? People in the chat, let me know if Deshaun Kaiser is a good pick for the Jets' new QB. Yeah, I know Wi-Fi. I get it. My Wi-Fi is not perfect. Better, Wi-Fi is like terrible. Yeah. If you're gonna tell my internet thesis, uh, I yeah. BMAC to have football that much. I usually go watch the draft, but that's usually it for college prospects.
Did you read my comment? Did we lose you? I think his internet crapped out. Is your internet still there? I don't know. I think I lost you.
B-Mac. Hey, you hater guy. Allen sucks and JJ can kiss my ass before I wipe.
You will never have a back-to-back of worse internet connections than going from Beastbreaker to BMAC. It's just unbelievable. BMAC. It is so easy to have functional Wi-Fi in 2025. Take out your phone like Ricky NY did and call in from the phone. Do it right now. Very easy. Maybe I'll address some of your shit quarterback suggestions. But I'm not doing it when your Wi-Fi is garbage. Cincy Matt tuned in during the Beastbreaker call, and he goes, hell yeah, I tuned in at the right time. Number 1 seed, baby. I'll tell you what, where Beastbreaker was seated was highly debated during the committee meeting yesterday. I think the committee did a good job breaking it down. And it's going to be fascinating to see when the brackets come out how the Asmaniacs feel. Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike is on the line. Hey, Mike.
Yo, what am I, a 16 seed?
You're in the tournament. I actually don't know off the top of my head where you are. Let me see if I can find it.
I think 16 is good. That's probably where I belong.
I don't think you're a 16 at all, actually.
I think so. I think that's where I belong. 16. Got a lot of heavy hitters on the station.
Dude, if you're a 16, you're getting wiped out pretty early. You're playing a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Unless you pull off the upset.
Nah, I expect going against Lane and getting bounced. That's all right. It's all good. I had a quick one for you, Jake. Someone posed this to me. I don't know how I feel about it. So we have 5 picks in the first 4 rounds. So somehow we get 2 fourth-round picks. And this is how it shakes out. Right tackle, round 1. Round 2, safety. Round 3, defensive tackle. Then our first fourth-round pick is a corner. And our second fourth-round pick is a quarterback. That's how it shakes out. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't hate the positional selection. Who's the quarterback?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be probably someone none of us are even talking about in the 4th round. I don't know. Anybody good. But someone posed that to me, and I didn't know if I hate it or I like it. I'm not really sure.
Where did you get the Jets have 2 fourths from? Is that right?
No, he's saying you're trading up. You're trading like your 2 6s and a 5th to get a 4th at the end, something like that.
Well, I'm trading up for a quarterback in the 4th round?
Yeah. I don't know why.
We're complicating this. The Jets right now have a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th. They have 2 5ths. That's what they have.
Yeah, I don't know. So you're trading 2 5ths to go to the 4th or something like that. Whatever.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't want a right tackle at 7. I'm good. I'd rather take a defensive player.
Yeah, I think the corner, if he's there, or if Mason Graham is there, but I doubt it. Mason Graham is probably going top 5. But
or one of the other defensive linemen that are really good in this draft.
Yeah, well, Carter is definitely going, I think, 3rd tops. I mean, minimum.
Yeah, not Carter, but I don't have the list of names in front of me, but there's a lot of guys that are 1st-round picks that are on that side of the ball.
I got to let my dog out, so I'll catch you later.
All right, Mike. We'll see you later. Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike. Tried to ask BMAC if he got freaky with a lady, but BMAC's internet was not cooperating. Hate to see it. Julio says TEMU must offer Wi-Fi. I don't even know what that means. Rich says hit the like, it's free. Absolutely. Hit the like button. I'm house sitting for Kyle Clifton right now. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. Let's say hi to Team Curry, who's next. Hello, Team Curry.
What is going on, my brother? What is going on? It's been a bunch of, I don't know. I need my Jet fans and my Asmaniacs and Shiners out there to be more amped up this offseason because you know we're winning the offseason per usual.
Maybe we
And
don't win the offseason, but we actually win games in the regular season.
I'm with that. I'm just tired of seeing us fans be depleted. We got to be pumped up. We got the new regime in here. The Osala regime is gone. I would, to be in a position to debate if I want Aaron Rodgers on my team or not. Yes, he's the best quarterback out there, but there has to be other kind of factors, factored in as to why, Glenn and Moogie wanted him to not be there anymore. I mean, there's that financial repercussion with that as well, even if he did take a pay cut or not. But I just need a couple of things right now. I need everybody to hit, smash, destroy the like button on this. Jake provides content to us twice a freaking day. So all you can do as far as helping out besides providing memberships is hit that like button. Like, what the hell? Like,
I appreciate it, Team Curry. I appreciate it.
Like, what the hell? Like, every time I come in, even if I don't watch the full video, I just go boop and I hit that like button.
Beautiful.
That's it. I mean, then to address BMAC's quarterback picks, you got a little too freaky with your quarterback pick. So you're not focused. When you focus on the women, you might have a better selection as far as our quarterback, the Jet quarterback should be. You got Jordan Love, be with that. I mean, that may be all the love you may get in your life. Who knows?
That's true. We don't know. I'd love to ask BMAC about it, but unfortunately, his internet sucks.
Man, you were killing my ears. It was sounding like bacon was sizzling each time BMAC and Beastbreaker talk. Like, I'm like, I'm getting hungry all of a sudden. And I felt like busting out a couple of Beastbreaker moves my damn self. But hit that damn like button. That's all I wanted to freaking say. Let's go Jets. Like, yo, everyone needs to be uplifted. It's an off season. We haven't lost. We haven't won. But it's just begun, son. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Curry checking in. Very salient points. Love it, Team Curry. Thanks for the support. Apparently, is it pronounced like Temu or TEMU, this Chinese Amazon? That apparently is what that is. That joke went right over my head. I've never heard of it. I'll be totally honest. Gator wants to know, is Team Curry's jersey on backwards? I think so. It looked like it was backwards. All right, last chance to get in here. Comments, questions, super chats. Reminder, we are opening up entries for our new raffle. We did the one earlier today, raffle 15. Here's raffle 16. Grand prize, autograph, Sauce Gardner jersey. Second place prize, autograph, Nick Mangold jersey. Third place, autograph, Jermaine Johnson jersey. Those are the prizes. Raffle entries can be submitted by gifting a channel membership. For every membership you get, that's how many you get. Or a $20 super chat is the equivalent of 5. If you join the Patreon and sign up for the year, you're in for 10 raffle entries. If you're currently a Patreon member and you go from monthly to the year, we'll give you 10 entries. Bill Fawn, Mr. Big Skins are the two most recent Patreon members. Mr. Big Skins actually signed up during this very show, so thank you very much, Mr. Big Skins. We'll get you down to the raffle for 10. Alan writes in, BMAC could buy a date for 88 cents on Temu. Big Fella says, I will be entering the raffle later in the week. Hell yeah. Timu. Sean says Allen bought his wife off Timu. Hennessy says Jake's going to be mad with the dart emoji. Yeah, you're going to be mad too when the Jets suck. So you be happy now, Hennessy. You're not going to be happy either when the Jets suck. As usual. Kyle writes in, Jake, when you get the autograph Altoon jersey, that's when I'm going all in on it. Ooh, okay. Might have to get some Altoon signed merch. See what I could do on that for you. Hey, we are trying to do a Jets draft theme for this next raffle because of the combine next week. That's why I went with Sauce, Mangled, and Jermaine. D-Rob writes in, Jake, hear me out. Bring back Zach. You think this was a good joke? Huh? Funny?
He stinks.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. You're fired. Suck it, truthers.
Big fella says, Jake, you get an autographed Altoon jersey. I'll go all in also. Who knew that Altoon had so much love? Obviously, I know it was a great Jet. You guys want some Altoon? We've done Klecko and Gastineau. It's fitting. We got to get someone from the 80s on offense. All right, I'll see what I can do on the Altoon. See if I can come up with some Altoon merch. Let's get back to your calls, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, Chris G is up next. Hey, Chris.
How's it going, Jake?
What's up, Chris?
I think there's a common misconception about Justin Fields. People think he got benched, due to poor player, that he wasn't that good. But he got benched because Mike Tomlin wanted to see what he had in Russell Wilson and decided that he was a better fit for the team. So Justin Fields getting benched wasn't a result of his play. It was a result of, just a scheme around them. And I think Justin Fields would be a much better option than any other of these horrible options or even trading up. I think Cam Ward is going to end up being a bust. And I don't think any of these quarterbacks are that good. I think we should take McMillan, the receiver, at 7. He has some jaw-dropping highlights and potential. So, yeah, I think Justin Fields and taking that receiver is the way to go for us.
So, look, the one thing I'll say, though, about Fields, if he was playing great, if Tomlin believed in him, he wouldn't have benched him, though. I mean, he wasn't playing bad, but obviously they felt like Russ maybe had a higher ceiling, so they tried it, and then, they were 10-3 at one point.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't playing great, but with the run first team around him this year with the Jets and Brees with but hopefully a better scheme, I think Fields can be great. And he already has that connection with Garrett, and he's a dual threat. So he can make he has a lot of potential. It can make a lot of things happen.
Yeah, look, I like Fields. I'm not in love with him. I rather him than some of the other garbage options that have been floated out there because at least he's young and there is an upside.
100%.
But we'll see what they do there. As far as McMillan at 7, I'm in. They believe he's a game changer. They need a receiver.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize enough. I really don't want to see them trade up. I mean, I don't want them to take a quarterback that they're really unsure on just because for the sake of taking one. Especially with pick 7, that's a disgrace.
Yeah, I can't do it at pick 7. I mean, we're setting ourselves up to fail again.
I can't stand to see this team suck again, man. All these people talking about, trade packages for young players and, if they don't buy in, then trade them. But it's Glenn's job to get these players to buy in,
Right. If he's
Yeah,
such a great leader, these guys should be running through a wall to play for him. That's what everyone keeps saying. He's a great leader. He's going to change the culture. Then, okay, Bill Parcells inherited a team that had a terrible record, even worse than the Jets' record is now. And they won 9 games in his first year after they won, They won 1 the previous year. You got there.
Yeah, 100%. We just have to put our faith in this regime, which, it's hard to do sometimes. But if they make their, a couple good free agent signings and, we get a good quarterback, competent quarterback, there's so many shitty options that, it's almost like Justin Fields is like the shining diamond in the rough. And, I'd rather Cousins over Carr because I don't think Carr is even worth it, even if you're getting Devontae back. I mean, you could fill the receiver hole with McMillan at 7, but a Carr is really, not worth any attention. So most of these quarterbacks suck. So we have to focus on just, if it's just Tyrod, then fine. But these quarterbacks are god awful.
It's not great. Bill Clinton writes in, this poor kid's going to be 70 talking about the Jets looking for a quarterback.
Oh my God! Already sat through so much. I can't even express how upset I am. They got rid of Rodgers and saying that he pleaded to stay. Only the Jets can leave me depressed on Valentine's Day, man. It's awful.
You didn't have a Valentine?
Nope.
No.
I was listening to your radio show in my room. So that's a happy Valentine's Day.
Hell yeah. That's, I mean, there's nothing quite like a Valentine's Day, but listening to me do a sports talk show on a Friday night. I'll tell you what, Chris, you got that decision right.
Especially when they got rid of Rodgers and there's no one better. So life's great.
Hang in there, Chris. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the time, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Chris G. Him and Connor Long vying for our youngest callers. They also happen to be two of our smartest callers. Wayne writes in, Connor has to finish his homework before he can call in. Do we think Connor actually does his homework? I know I didn't. I'd wait till the morning of and copy off someone that did do it. Beastbreaker writes in, when I was 17 years old, I broke Roger Maris's 1960 record when he was with the Kansas City Royals. You played in the bigs? Julio writes in, is it 100% Adams is gone? I'd be shocked if he's not. Jet Nation, Chris at 14 years old with better takes than 99% of Jake's listeners. One could argue. Tom A says, that's the most romantic way to spend Valentine's Day I've ever heard. Oh, yeah. Tom, I wasn't going to share this, but I was told by several Asmaniacs that there were people, to quote Boy Green, making sweet and passionate love to my 7 to 9 p.m. radio show Friday night on ESPN New York. That's what I was told. All right. Now, I'm not going to say who, but that's what I was told. Let's just say Valentine's Day spirit was in the air. Beastbreaker says, high school baseball, I was a killer. I believe it, Beast. That swing you had, go get the bat again, Beast. Give us another swing. We couldn't hear you well, but we could see you. Give us another home run trot, the whole thing, man. I mean, that was as good as it gets from Beastbreaker. I mean, this guy broke Roger Maris's record. Incredible.
Beastbreaker. All right, now number 2 moment. All right. What do you got for me, son? Come on, what do you got? Swing, ball one outside. Here we go. Here comes the pitch. Curveball on outside. There she goes. Deep center field. Way back. Way back. It's gone. That ball was out of here. First class on South America. You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he got
Incredible. I mean, that's a swing right there, folks. Find that on a different show, all right? On any YouTube program. You won't. You only find it here. Ryan writes in, when I was 17, I was in a cornfield getting hammered drunk. Are you in a cornfield? Tom A says, the Jake Asman show should be the soundtrack to the love scenes in Top Gun. Now, that is a salient point by Tom Ace. That's why he's on the Asmaniac committee right there. Smoke Champ, WTF is this? Are you new around here? Like, these things still surprise you? Alan says that belly deserves its own song. Alan, it's too bad that you retired from calling in because you and Beast, I think, would really hit it off. Let's see. Dixon says some people grow up on farms. That's true. I just didn't realize that that person in particular grew up on a farm, which I don't know if Ryan did or not. He didn't say. More of your calls right now. The big fella's on the line. What's up, big fella?
Hey, man. Yo, it's sad what happened to Vogelback, man, living in an attic now. It's kind of wild.
Well played.
I have a feeling we're going to take Dart at 7. I really do.
Oh,
and I know you're not going to like it. I know you're not going to like it.
No, I hate it.
I know. I get it. But I think that's what we're going to do.
Why though? Why can't they not do that?
Because if you like him that much,
they don't. How do you know they like him that much? You like him. How do you know Darren?
Well, Spielman likes him.
Spielman didn't say he'd be a first-round pick though. Spielman had a third-round grade on the guy.
Dude, he's been going up the draft boards like crazy. So,
but he hasn't. But
he has.
No, who mocked him in the top 7 that actually has any credibility? Jeremiah hasn't. McShay hasn't.
Just
Matt
wait
Miller
until
hasn't. Dane Brooks.
wait until your combine.
All these guys are going to be on my show next week. At least some of them that I mentioned.
I
We'll get all the Jackson Dart you can imagine.
I look forward to hearing it, man. You do a great job. I look forward to hearing it, but I think that's what we're going to do. And would I like to take them lower? Yeah, absolutely. But if they like them, you're going to take them, and then go. I want a big defensive tackle in the second round. That's what I want. A big fat guy.
Do that in the first round and take Jackson Dart in the second round when he's there.
Well, I don't know. If you like a player, I guess you take him. I don't know. That's just what I'm seeing. What I'm thinking anyway. I do like him. I'm becoming a Bauer boy for Dart. I swear to God. So
Unreal.
It is. It's crazy. Like the tides have turned, man.
Question for you. You're an Altoon guy. Would you prefer a jersey or a helmet?
If you got a jersey signed from him, I would frame that thing.
How do you feel about a helmet?
Helmet? I already have a mini helmet.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, Altoon, he's like a hero to all us Gen X guys, man.
He's a great player.
He was like it was him and Jerry Rice back in the day, and Jet fans to this day who grew up then still think like if he wouldn't have got the concussions, he would have been right up there with them.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great player.
He was that kind of player. So yeah, I mean, we hold him in high regard. So yeah. But when are you leaving for the combine?
Next Monday, 1 week from today.
Next Monday. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Looking forward to watching the show and everything. The whole week. You do a great job, like I said, man. So anyway, Jackson Dart at 7. I know you hate it.
Oh yeah.
Deani Walker, second round, third round Gunnar Helm, tight end, and I'll be happy as hell. But if we can trade back for him and still get Jackson Dart, I'd be happy with that too.
Hopefully that happens. So at least we could come away with a great player at pick 7.
Right. We'll see. It's a crapshoot, like you've said.
It is. Now, what did you think of? Obviously you compared Beast to Daniel Vogelback, but I mean that was a great swing. You got to acknowledge that.
Oh, it was a great. I don't know how he swings it. He has like a really good swing, and he's able to move his arms around his belly too. It's like really, it's something else. Listen. I saw potential in this guy. I know he's done some crap in the past, but I see other people are starting to like him now too, and that's a good thing, man. We should all enjoy, being Jet fans.
I mean, this is all we have. We just have each other. The team.
That's it.
Nothing.
We got each other, man. We got each other. That's it. Ain't that the truth? But no, he's coming along. He's coming along. I'm not going to send him to the hole anymore.
Wow, it's a big step forward.
Yeah, big steps. Big steps. I just wish he would talk football more instead of hopping on the bed and shit all the time, But
I just wish his internet didn't suck.
That's true. He's got to delete all those porn cookies, man. That's what he has to do. Or restart his computer. That's what
I think he's calling from his phone. That's what I don't understand. Yeah, he's got to either get off the Wi-Fi or get on the Wi-Fi, or try and call from a different location and see if it's better.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but I see a lot of people in the chat wanting Joe Milton. Let me tell you something, people. You don't want Joe Milton. There's a few people saying we should trade for him and stuff like that. And
B says I like you, big fella. There you go.
I like him too. I'm a big Tennessee fan, if you don't know, and I watched him throughout his last season at Tennessee, and you do not want him. He is garbage. Okay. And just because he was doing it against second string players does not mean he'll be good. So there's that.
I agree.
But we should go to all the colleges, he's saying. Beast, there aren't 10,000 colleges in America, by the way. There's only 5,300. I looked it up for you. So next time you call in, don't say we got to go to all 10,000. There's only 5,300. Okay,
good stats and research right there.
Just hey, man, I'm trying to add to the show. Let's just say that.
I love it, big fella. You're the man.
You're the man, man. Take care. Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great big fella checking in. Kyle with a super chat. He says, tune Jersey, Jake. If Kenny O didn't lead him to death every pass, he would have had a Rice numbers. Also been talking to your team. Looking forward to future things. Oh, that's awesome, Kyle. I'm glad you got connected. Kyle has an awesome business. I don't want to spoil it, but he reached out about advertising on the show, connecting with the right people that handle my marketing and sponsorships. And I think Jet fans will be pumped. So appreciate the support, Kyle. I will work on trying to get some Al Toon merch. I use a bunch of different sites where I buy this stuff, and the first site I checked did not have any signed jerseys. They have jerseys, but they're not signed. They have a lot of Al Toon trading cards, though. Maybe we'll buy some of those to start. Al Toon. Yeah, the closer's on the line right now, Cheats fan, but he had a meltdown today. All right. He gave up like 6 runs in the 9th inning. I don't know if he's the closer. At least not this show. I think he just might be maybe middle relief for the day. I mean, the end of the first show today was wild. Let's see if Cheats fan has a redemption call in him.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Yo, what up?
How are you, Cheats fan? Have you calmed down?
Yeah, I just don't like shit talkers. I've been on this show long enough. People can kiss my ass if they want to talk shit.
Well, 100%.
Kiss my ass at the Taco Bell. Know what? That's what I say to them.
That is very aggressive.
But I was talking in your Discord, and a few people want Dart, and I don't think it's worth drafting him into the 2nd or 3rd round. It's very nice of you to look after Kyle Clifton's house, by the way.
Yep. I mean, he entrusted me with the responsibility.
Hell yeah. Like there's talks about people overpaying Russ, and I was talking to people on the East Coast who are Giants fans, and they're laughing, saying, "Oh, look at the Jets probably overpay Russ or Justin Fields." I'm like, the Giants roster ain't even better. You guys are probably going to overpay Russ. How you guys might overpay Rodgers?
Rodgers is gone.
I don't think Rodgers would stay in New York, but that'd be the most Giants thing to do. Pick up your scraps.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna add Rodgers. I think he's gonna go elsewhere.
Right now, like I watched your short. The Steelers and the Niners make the most sense.
I don't think they're moving on from Purdy and San Fran. I think the Steelers make the most sense.
I've seen some of the most off the wall shit for Niners fans saying, "We'll take Rodgers or we'll take Wilson." I'm like, you guys got Purdy. Why would you want older quarterback compared to Purdy. Purdy just had a bad year because he was bummed up, and his whole entire team was like band-aids glued together with regular glue, not even hot glue.
You ever eat hot glue?
No.
Never?
Never ate glue either. Like,
So cold glue or hot glue, to be clear.
no, I've never had glue either. I know the combine is 10 days away, but like March Madness is 29 days away. The draft,
As Maniac Madness Selection Sunday is 6 days away.
Yep. Which, like, there's so many things going on in March and April. And in May, the schedule gets released. I just hope you guys have your quarterback situation handled by then, so you're not talking about it in May. If you guys are still talking about a quarterback in May, it's Tyrod Taylor. There's no way. There's no other.
We always talk about the quarterback. That's what we do as Jet fans.
Yeah, but like if you
We're not like you, where we have the best one in the league and we never have to worry about it.
Second best, thanks to that last Super Bowl.
Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, but like until we get another ring.
What do you mean? He's won 3. He's won 3.
No, I know, but people are gonna say Jalen Hurts is better than him.
No, they're not. No one is saying that. No one with a brain is saying that Jalen Hurts is a better.
I've been hearing it all week. I've been hearing it all week.
Then these people are trolling you, Cheats fan. Don't let them get to you.
All right, true. I mean, at one point, I'm like, if Jalen's so good, watch him. He can't three-peat. But like, also down the line, people are like, "What would you do if Patrick Mahomes got traded to the Jets?" I'm like, "I'll still be a Chiefs fan, but I would hope for the Jets to win back-to-back Super Bowls." Someone asked me that today.
We'll take that. Boomtown writes in, Cheats fan, who do you worry about matching up against in as Maniac Madness, or are you fearless?
Only 3 people. The daughter of Gary, Lane, and Charles. And if I got beat by Gary's daughter, so be it. I want her to win the whole entire thing. That'll be an amazing, sweetheart thing for the community to do for her.
Interesting.
She and Connor are my dark horses to win it all.
Connor's not eligible. He's a content creator.
Oh shit! Right. Well, okay. She and Kyle Clifton. Let's just say Clifton. Then might as well since she's letting you watch over his house.
Yeah. What do you think I should? You think I should go lay down on the couch after the show?
No, I think you should sleep in the master bedroom.
Should I?
Yes. Smile. Do it.
Connor Long says, Cheats fan, you're my pick to win it all.
Thank you, Connor. I was rooting for you, Connor, if you were going to be in it. But like, imagine the Young Bucks come in and just totally whoop our ass, like the Young Bucks from AEW. And thank you, Connor.
Do you ever call young people whippersnappers, Cheats fan? You seem like an old soul.
No, I call them Young Bucks. Like the Young Bucks AEW, if you know who they are, the wrestling tag team.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay. I call them Young Bucks.
Young whippersnappers?
No, Young Bucks. Young Bucks is a shout out to the Young Bucks wrestling tag team crew.
I see. Hey, hold on 1 second, Cheats fan. I have a very important comment I have to read here. It just came through the pipeline. Eddie writes in, damn, Jake, my girl got home, fed me, gave me some ass, took shower, and you're still doing a live, LOL. Ladies and gentlemen, congrats to Eddie on the sex.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
Cheats fan, your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not for.
Hey, what'd you have for dinner, Eddie?
I don't support sodomy, but if you, but I do support gay rights, so it's 50-50. So.
Well, I think this was consensual relations.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're a couple.
True, but like, I'm like, you better have had something. She better have cooked you fucking steak and eggs for that sex to be worth it. The steak and I agree with you. I agree with something with Gary. Steak and eggs are like one of the best meals, and then you have some pan fried potatoes. You're eating good.
Right, absolutely. It was some pasta that was had tonight.
Oh, pasta puts anyone in the fucking mood. Did she Did you meatballs, or was it spicy, or was it damn something in my, or was it it's like regular pasta with Alfredo sauce? Because my friend is weird. All he does is pasta with Alfredo sauce. He doesn't have any meat to it. I'm like, you don't add meat to pasta? Come on. And people are like, well, you grew up. I'm like, even in the hood, we still had cheap sausages that we cheap sausages when they went on sale, the smoky stuff. Even if it wasn't the best for us, we tossed that in the pasta. Like right now, every time I make pasta, I buy spicy pork sausage, or I make ground beef and make it extra spicy with all the seasonings, because spicy pasta is the best way to go. Especially when
you writes in, I'm about a half hour behind, but I definitely don't want to know why Pooptown is talking about sodomy. God. Chew, you're in for quite the treat when you get to this portion of the
yeah,
show.
you are. But all I know is this: I just hope things go well for you guys. I know the first year is probably going to be a 5-win season. If you win 7, I'm sorry, Jets fans, but if you guys win like 7 to 8 games, this is your season. Like, I would love to see you guys win more, but the way they're tearing down the house and not building it back up just for one more season, just to like try to glue it together, maybe like glue it together like Phillip Rivers had that one playoff run, lost in the playoffs, but he at least made it there. I'm like, I hate to say it, Jake, but I don't know if it might take another 5 years for you to win the division if they tear the house down. And I'm not talking about no regular tear down. I'm talking about like the city takes 5 years to tear down abandoned homes. That's how bad the rebuild might be if they take forever with it.
I hope not, Cheats fan, but hey.
I don't want that either, because I've been here for almost 2 years now, and I don't want to be here for 7 years and hear you guys talking about 3 more failed quarterbacks that you guys have drafted.
Cheats fan, thanks for the time.
Yeah.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Now that was an adventure with Cheats fan. That's why he's the closer. He wasn't today because of what happened on the first show, but a call like that, I mean, wow. Bobby Midnight writes in, I am mad at Beastbreaker. Bobby, call in and explain yourself immediately. What happened? Clancy really did lose his membership. Damn, man. That was for YouTube. Waste no time. Clancy said he had 30 minutes left. He was right. Someone gift the membership so Clancy can get one. Jake, since you're the ass man, help Cheats fan out. I'll do my best, man. Cheats fan's a loose cannon. Beastbreaker says, Bobby, this is not the time. Yeah, I don't think Beastbreaker wants to fight right now. He's having some internet issues. Mr. Midnight, call in and explain yourself. We haven't heard from you today. Donnie's on the line. He's next. Hello, Donnie.
Hey, what's going on, Jake? How you doing?
What's up, Donnie?
Hey, so I usually listen to your show, I don't know, 2-3 times a week. And I finally decided to call in because if I got to listen to another person talking about Jackson Dart or anybody else not named Cam Ward or Shador Sanders in the first round they're talking about, I'm going to lose my mind. Jackson Dart is not a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick. He's a 4th round, 5th round pick. And I don't think anybody else, people are saying up Will Howard. Will Howard in the 4th round? Are you kidding me? That's just crazy.
That at least is like logical, though. You know, you take a chance on a guy that's a developmental player. You take Jackson Dart at 7, like you're committing to him being your quarterback the next couple of years, and they better be right if they make that decision.
Yeah, and usually they're not right because, I don't know, I've looked at the history of this league too, right? And the The difference between the first quarterback taken and the second quarterback taken is absolutely insane. One of them works out and the other doesn't, or they both don't work out. It's gone that way every single year, without a doubt in my mind. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm calling about. Like, I don't think we should be drafting a quarterback until at least the 4th or 5th round. There's just too many holes that we need to fill. We need to get a safety, a tight end, this and that. I don't know. I'm into bringing in, I don't know what your thoughts are, but Jameis Winston is not a terrible option to bring in as a bridge quarterback. If you're going to bring in Jameis and then draft someone like Kyle McCord in the 6th round, 7th round, or draft the guy out of Louisville. I've watched him play. He's pretty good. Or even taking a shot at Dylan Gabriel later in the draft, I think is a way better idea than trying to draft one of these quarterbacks before, like, even the 3rd round would be too early to draft a quarterback if his name is not Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't want them to take a quarterback at 7. You know, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert if they take someone else later. I just want a sound strategy. I don't believe these quarterbacks are worthy of a top 7 pick that are going to be there for the Jets. So if they did it at the end of round 1 with someone, I'm open to that. They took someone in round 2. If it's Gabriel, who they believe in, but maybe like he was the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl. That's what what's his name told me when I was in New Orleans last week, Dimitrov. So, you know, if you think the guy could play, but he's short, that's why he's a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Do that. I don't want a 1st round quarterback in the top 7.
No, I think it would be crazy, and I just don't see anybody that's available. And I don't want to trade up and get rid of all these picks for going up to the 1st pick or the 2nd pick or the 3rd pick. It just doesn't work out. Get rid of one of our, I don't know, trade back into the 1st, you know, with one of our 2nd round picks, because we haven't had a good 2nd round pick since David Harris. That is actually re-signed. I mean, maybe Brees re-signs with us going forward, but hopefully, I mean, that's the last player that we're re-signed with us.
I know. Look, they got to be better. And I talked about this today, but they also got to be better on, you know, day 2, day 3 with offensive players. Like, when was the last time this team hit on a receiver or a tight end that was drafted in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th? Like, they don't. That's the problem.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm with you, Donnie. All fair.
Yeah, but that's all I really wanted to let you know. Like, I just can't keep hearing these fans like Jackson Dart. No. I've watched Jackson Dart way too much in college football. Every time I turn on the TV, he makes a play. Every time I leave the TV on, he's throwing a pick. He's doing something. He's turning the ball over. It's just too much of Jackson Dart. And then Jaden Milroe is pretty much Joe Milton 2.0. You know, he's a little bit more athletic. He has a pretty similar arm. Granted, he doesn't have a big arm like Joe Milton, but he could still sling it down the field. But I mean, Joe Milton wasn't great. He can't complete a 5-yard, a 10-yard pass. And that's what you're looking at with Jaden Milroe too. Yeah, that's it, Jake. Maybe get your thoughts, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
Don, you said this is your first call?
Yeah, first call.
Awesome job, man. Call back anytime, all right?
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Donnie checking in. Yeah, look, I think he represents how a lot of people feel being down on this quarterback class. By the way, we had a fake Bobby Midnight in the chat that I took care of. So, Beast, Bobby has no beef with you. That was a fake Bobby Midnight trying to stir the pot. Probably was Ted Yu who made that account. But we got to the bottom of it. Bobby is not on hold. Connor says, Jake, you still have the green screen on. I'm house sitting for Kyle Clifton, Connor. God. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Milton to compare him to how these guys are. I don't believe in these quarterbacks. I don't like the all year we know there's only 2 going in the first round, and then now all of a sudden we change our mind. Like, stop it. No. It's all made up. It's not true. We're not there yet. We haven't even had the combine yet. When I start hearing Jeremiah, Kuiper, McShay, Brugler, when I start hearing those guys actually be transparent and give me real reasons why Jackson Dart is deserving of top 7 pick, I'll start to pay attention then. Right now, no one's doing that. It's just people just trying to hype up Jackson Dart based on what? I had a former NFL GM tell me last week he wasn't even the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl. So I'm good on Jackson Dart right now. End of the first round, they want to do it? Fine, that's different. Not at pick 7. Not when it's a loaded defensive tackle draft. Receivers a huge need. They're in line to take the first receiver off the board. Tight end, corner. All these things are in play at pick 7. We're going to take a quarterback who no one thinks is deserving of a top 7 pick? No, thank you. Beastbreaker says, hey, Jake, my birthday's coming up. Happy almost birthday, Beast. Nick Sean writes in, they're trying to hype him up because they want a quarterback and no, we can't get the top 2. Probably. How about Eddie? Guy had dinner, made sweet love to his, I don't know, is your wife Eddie or girlfriend, whoever. Now it's just watching the show. Unreal. Nick Shine did some detective work as well. I knew as soon as I went to his page and he had 8 subs, I wasn't typing in caps. Yeah, I had my doubts because Bobby's always on hold if he's going to call in. But then I clicked on his page too, and I saw he only had 8 subs. I'm like, this is a fake Bobby Midnight account. Nick Shine says, Beast, you should ask for better Wi-Fi for your birthday. That's a great point. Beast with better Wi-Fi, I mean, the potential is limitless. Who knows what would happen?
You know what time it is? A Beast Breaker 666.
Incredible.
My wrist and shove it up your ass, and then he got
All right. Where do we go from here?
Get your hands up, you cocksucker! Get your hands up!
Beast Breaker.
Beast Wi-Fi still not great. Also, Robert C., where did you go? I had Robert C. right there. They'd gone. Beast, have you thought about calling from a different location? Just to see if it's maybe the attic Wi-Fi that's your issue? Ladies and gentlemen, the great Robert C. is on the line. Hey, Robert.
Jake, can you hear me this time?
Yes, sir.
Sound a lot better?
You sound great. You look great. What's going on?
Yeah. I made a video the other day. I noticed that my StreamYard on my phone was in desktop mode. I switched it to mobile, and after I switched it to mobile, it worked a lot better.
Hey, I'll tell you
Am
what.
I ridiculous for hoping that Sam Donald might come back?
You're not ridiculous. I just don't think it's going to happen.
And the Jets can't afford it.
I mean, they could make it work contractually if they really had to. I don't think he has any interest in coming back.
I'd say Donald, right, because they ran him out of New York like they did Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to deal with everything that comes with being the Jet quarterback again. I think he needed to get away to be the player he now is, and I don't think he wants to come back.
Right. Much better offensive line, much better receivers, much better running backs. But the problem is, I mean, like 3/4 of our receivers are going to leave. And Garrett Wilson said, I mean, if Rodgers came back, I don't know if that's true or not, that he'd want to leave. But I think Garrett Wilson might want to leave anyway, even though Rodgers is gone.
I think Garrett wants to win.
Because
so
we
he's not
don't
going to be
really
happy.
have a quarterback.
Yeah,
right
he's not
now.
going to be happy if they suck again next year.
So Sam Donald number 1, Jameis Winston number 2, and Derek Carr number 3.
All right. Now,
Is that a
J-Quest
good
has a
list?
question for
The
you.
top 3?
Did you brush your hair with a vacuum? J-Quest wants to know.
No, I didn't, but it's like an Albert Einstein style with brown hair.
I think it looks good.
I just need a haircut. I mean, I washed it, and it just puffs up like this. I just got to have an opportunity to get it cut. That's all.
Nick Shine
Tammy
says you
will
have to
cut
go
it.
see Bobby's hairstylist, Desiree.
Is that the real name of his hairstylist?
Yes.
Okay.
Big fella
And
says you
Burger
have to
King
stop
and
licking
McDonald's
batteries.
are in a bidding war for Bobby.
Any truth to the rumor you lick batteries, Robert?
No.
Big fella, where'd you get this from?
Listen, man, that hair is
What
amazing.
does it say? I don't know. I don't know where he got it from.
Your hair looks amazing.
That's great. I mean, I wish I was as smart as Albert Einstein.
How did you get it? How did you get your hair that way?
I watched Back to the Future.
No. Like,
Not really.
How did you
just
style it that
happens.
way, man? It looks awesome.
It just happens.
Okay.
I didn't
All right.
style it. It just happens.
Your hair
I got you.
Really curly, naturally curly.
And that's not a fake background, right? That's your real room there, right?
No, I'm in the
I
other
think
room with
Tommy
Jake.
said it looked like a hotel room.
Yeah. No, Jake's in one room. I'm in the other.
That don't look like a hotel room, not a Jake's in there. That looks like the inside of a house.
Yeah, it
Of course
looks
it's the
just like the
inside of
inside
the
of a
house,
house.
man.
Right, it looks like an inside of a house.
I don't want to show my real background.
We got we got the house remodeled. I
Oh,
mean,
nice.
cabinets, bathroom. I mean, it looks a lot. If you remember what it looked like before, the walls were painted and everything. So
Yeah,
It's all being different. It's all different. Then.
Tammy's dad's a contractor.
You took the Christmas tree down, right?
Yeah, the Christmas tree used to be over here.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's gone now.
Oh, good. Very
All
good, man.
Christmas tree. We're still in the middle of trying to get everything organized.
How's Tammy doing?
Tammy's doing fine. Can you talk to Big Fella, Tammy? Yeah, put on the headphones.
I got Josie.
Here, hold the.
Yeah,
hold the
hello.
phone.
Hey,
Hi.
Tammy, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good.
How
I'm
you
good.
doing? Nice. It
Nice to
does
see you
look
too.
like it's the bed backing. It looks like a king size bed or something there where you are.
It looks real, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got
There's
this.
no
I got
fake.
this background off StreamYard.
Really?
Yeah.
And it really doesn't look fake because see, other people that have the backgrounds, it'll show blotches coming up over the shoulders.
Yeah, I got the upgrade.
That's
I got
why
the
they asked
upgraded
Kyle
version,
Clifton if
yeah.
he was fanning himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything's looking different in here. Daddy done went through here. He's really been working on this place, so he's redoing the whole thing. Painting,
Congratulations, that looks
cabinets,
great.
new shower,
looks great in there.
everything. Oh yeah.
It looks great. You and Robert are doing a good job in there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of my daddy. I really appreciate that he's doing this for me.
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
it's going to make a big difference in things, I believe.
Costs quite a lot.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
he's put a lot of money. He's put a lot of money into it, but it's going to be worth it. I'm going to have a lot more space when we get done.
That's always good. That's always good to have more space.
yeah.
You gotta move around the house and stuff. You don't want to be cramped
Yeah,
up.
I'm still trying to get myself back up to walking because I'm in a wheelchair currently. So I need more space and need to be safe to be able to walk through here. So
Are you doing
Yeah.
physical therapy?
I was in physical therapy, but I've come out recently because they told me just to be doing the exercises at home, and they're just still trying to see what they can do
You gotta bend
to
in
make
your knee, you
to
can't
make
straighten.
things better. But I have a fracture in my knee, so my knee is
Oh.
like bent. Oh yeah, it's bent. So
Well, I hope you
that
get-
makes it a little bit more difficult to be able to stand up. I can stand up, but it's more difficult to be able to walk like
It's
that.
like standing up in a
I see.
squat.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
may
hope
be
you
able
feel
to
better
do it
soon.
over time. I'll just have to keep working and stretching those knees out. But they won't go
Absolutely.
in surgically right now because I have I had wounds on my legs and they just freshly healed. So
Oh,
they
good.
won't go in right now. They won't open my knees up, and that's the only thing that would really, they could maybe cut tendons and stuff to straighten them back out.
Yeah. Well, take it day by
Yeah.
day. You'll get
get
better.
the-
You just
Yeah.
you got to take it one
Oh,
day at
yeah.
a time.
Right. And I'm very positive about it. And I mean, I intend to try to come back up. I have a lot of faith in myself. So
Oh, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it.
thank you. I appreciate it, big fella.
Oh, all right.
I appreciate it.
What an episode of the Big Fella Show there, huh? We got a little Robert C. We got a little Tammy. Tammy, hope you feel better. Hey, Robert C. Great job, man. What an effort out of
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, I had to get my headphones back on. I mean, if you were watching, not Beast Breaker, the big fella was talking to Tammy. So
was he?
We were talking about how the house got remodeled, and that's another big reason why I wasn't calling, because we've been busy getting the house remodeled and stuff here.
The house looks
Inside,
great, Robert.
Yeah, thanks. The walls got painted, better cabinets and everything.
Yeah, new cabinets.
Love it.
Yeah.
Does it have that new house smell?
Yeah, I mean, we had to paint, but after about a week and a half after the paint diminished, then it's like more fresh air.
That's fantastic. It looks great. Huh? I'm excited to see the finished product.
Yeah, that's great.
What else is new, Robert?
St. John's, I mean, how good St. John's is going to go far in the tournament?
I hope so. I mean, they look great right now.
I mean, who did they last lose to? Who did St. John's last lose to? Whoa, living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer. They asked me to sing Living on Prayer. Should have went a higher tone. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Okay. I think I could do Boston better. Come on, party people. You got to get your hands together. You gotta play a little rock and roll music to get you through the stormy weather and do whatever you feel. And that ends my part of the show. I'm thankful to talk to everyone here.
Robert, tremendous job. What a performance.
Thank you.
Bravo, Robert C. Bravo. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do damage before the brackets are officially revealed. Committee might have to adjust some rankings after today's show. Wow. That was a tremendous call. We had Tammy as well. That's incredible. Committee's got some homework to do. Wow. Unreal. I mean, where do we go from there? I don't think we can go anywhere. Nick Shine says, we will see you in the tourney, Robert. Well played. Tom A says he's just moved up in my eyes. Where did we have Robert C in the bracket? Let me look. I don't even know myself. Oh, I do. Oh, wow. Committee, you guys got some work to do. That'll be fun. 25 has Maniac Insider Tom Ace. Tom Ace is not an insider. He's on the committee. I sat on a 3-hour call yesterday on Discord with Tom Ace, Gator, Rich, Boomtown, Sham. I think that's everyone. Thought this would be like 30 minutes. We quickly just slot it. No, these guys, every decision made was debated and was used with data to justify any decisions. It was very impressive, the job the committee did. Gustavo says, what do you think happens to Hassan Reddick? I don't care. He'll sign a 1-year deal with someone, and he'll look like a bigger idiot than he did at the time when he cost himself millions of dollars. Oh, Nick Shine was on the call too. I forgot Nick. Yeah, it was a tremendous meeting yesterday. Julio says, McShay compares Dart to Drake May. Big upside. Where did he say that? Because I've also heard Todd McShay say there's only 2 quarterbacks he thinks are worth first-round picks. And he said that the 2 quarterbacks this year in Shador and Cam would be QB4 compared to last year's class. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert C. has called back in. Hey, Robert.
Hi, Jake. I decorating my house, and I haven't been able to call in a while. Can you hear me? I just wanted to say hi because it's been too long since, calling in. But the house is getting, I'll show you my house.
Where's Tammy, Robert?
I don't know. Tammy's here. Tammy, say hi. I don't know. But, yeah.
You want to sing more Bon Jovi for us?
I don't know. Yeah. Halfway there. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't write much material because I just threw this together.
Thank you for the call, Robert.
Hi.
Thank you very much. Robert C. called it twice. What a show. Oscar, are you using new shampoo, Robert? Your hair looks terrific. Oh, man. Man, it's only February 17th. We're just getting underway here this offseason. Wow. Gator, man. One of the greats. Purple Belt Mike writes in, my wife just yelled, Mike, WTF is happening. Once again, try explaining the show to someone who doesn't watch the show. You can't. NY Jets Florida says, Troy Polamalu has nothing on Robert C. Canuck Jet says, are you at Rick Kent's house? No, I'm at Kyle Clifton's house. I'm house sitting for the day. Man. 25 says, I'm putting all my money on Gary to win the tourney. The odds got to be insane. We should come out with odds. I'll talk with the committee on that. Nick Shine says, I watch the show and I don't understand it at times. Me neither, man, and I host the show. Purple Belt Mike, Head and Shoulders needs to hit up Robert C. They do. Imagine next year we're watching a Jet game. They go to commercial break, and it's Mahomes, Troy Polamalu, and Robert C. in a Head and Shoulders commercial. Oh, hey, Patrick. Oh, my God. Clancy says, Bobby already put a bet on himself to win. I'm sure he did, that degenerate. Beastbreaker says, want to see me play guitar. I don't, Beast, because your internet's not great today. I'd rather just see you recreate the Garrett Wilson catch. Robert C. says, they are, talking about the hair. Yes, Robert. comma, we are. Kyle says the fact that Gator has so many wigs laying around his house is awesome. Beastbreaker says, okay, let's fly. I'm ready to fly. All right. You know what? We're trying to manifest the Garrett Wilson extension this offseason, right? Ladies and gentlemen, for a live performance of the catch of the NFL season, we say hello right now to the Beast.
Beastbreaker. Here we go. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Here we go. Ooh. Mama, come on. Give me that ball. Yeah. Yeah. Come here. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what time it is? A Beastbreaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he
That's a show. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, the Jets are winning 0 games next year. All right. I don't know what else to tell you. All right. Jaime Elhai personally told me that. Hey, that's how deep my connections with the team run. They say if you don't subscribe and like the video, no wins for any of you. So unless you're Frankie V, that should upset you. Oh, man. All right. What a show. Thank you to all the calls. They were tremendous. Unbelievable. We're back tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Tuesday. It's a Robbie Sabo day and a Buffalo Jet fan day. How about that? Again, thank you all for watching. God bless Beastbreaker's bed frame. God bless all of you. Reminder, join the Patreon. You get 10 raffle entries if you sign up for the year. Not only do you save 15%, you support me, and you get 10 entries for our next raffle, which features Sauce, signed jersey, Mangold signed jersey, Jermaine Johnson signed jersey. Just announced those prizes today after we did our 15th as Maniac raffle on the first show today. We've done 15 raffles since December 1. So you guys support me, and we try to pay it forward and give you guys awesome prizes. Anyway, that's a show. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your night, everyone. Go Jets, everybody. Please win games this year. Tired of losing. Fly around, baby.
I am not doing that. I don't have the space.
Start from where your chair is and then run and then jump onto the bed so we see the Puerto Rican flag. Captain Puerto Rico.
To close out today's show, we first ring the alarm.
Warning, Allen alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Allen alert. Hide the children.
Hey, Alan, what's up? I see you're still at the beach in your tank.
Hi, Fake. I'm still here in my tank at the beach with all you delusional Jet fans sitting in your filthy homes surrounded by hoes.
Hold out, Alan. The season hasn't even started yet, and you want them to tank the season already?
No, Fake. This tank is loaded up for battle for next year. We need to go 0-17 with these Jets.
You want the Jets to lose every friggin' game?
Right, Fake. We need to tank every year.
Are you kidding me? I can't take this shit anymore, Alan. Damn you.
Fake? Fake? Where you going? Well, I guess I'm the host.
Closer I am to find.
Hey, Margot Robbie, take me to the beach.
Anyway, like I was saying, why you delusional Jet fans aren't watching Iowa women's field hockey is beyond my comprehension.
Hey, Alan, you've ruined my show with your negativity for the last time, douchebag. Take this, you fake Jets fan.
He stinks. The guy is terrible.